From the 180 Pros, headphone went out. From the 180 Pros studio, 180 Pros, not your IT provider, your IT partner. We got a lot of ground to cover this morning. Qualifying opens this week. That's going to be a topic of conversation somewhere along the way. We got Medical Monday. We got Moral Dilemma Monday. August is National Will Month. What's that all about? Oh, we got to get after it. Let's go. Top stories and trending. It would help if I had my sheets in order. Among the new laws that took effect over the weekend was the Mall of Louisiana Shooting Response Bill by Jeff Wiley. As of Saturday, gang violence in public venues is now defined as first-degree murder if, of course, someone is shot and killed. We'll be taking a look at a handful of the new laws over the next 2 weeks. Friday, the Louisiana Supreme Court upheld the constitutionality of Act 748, the law reforming New Orleans' courts. This reversed the lower court's ruling that blocked the law from taking effect. Act 748 reforms the structure of New Orleans' courts by reducing the number of criminal district court judgeships from 12 to 9 as current terms expire. Attorney General Liz Murrill announced over the weekend that Louisiana will be joining Florida and Alabama in an investigation of Anthony Fauci and whether or not, in light of recent events, whether or not he lied when he was deposed by Louisiana and Missouri and claimed not to recall a lot of his own actions during COVID. One person is dead after a shooting Saturday night off of Starring Lane. Call came in around 7:30 p.m. on Ryder Drive. Officials said the coroner was contacted. No information was made immediately available. Is SpaceX coming to Louisiana? It's looking a lot more and more like it is. Story from The Advocate. I caught wind of it last night because I was completely clocked out over the weekend. But Louisiana is in the final stages of a deal. Per The Advocate, Louisiana is in the final stages of a deal to bring Elon Musk's SpaceX to coastal Vermilion Parish, where the aerospace giant is planning to build a new spaceport that will launch rockets into orbit from an 18-mile stretch of marshland about 45 minutes southwest of Lafayette. What you got, Breland?
Well, Israel has shared serious security concerns with the White House regarding the proposed disarmament deal with Hamas.
So we knew that was going to. We all knew that was going to happen, right? If you had the Gaza Strip being in Palestinian hands, that was going to be a problem for Israel. That would be one of many problems for Israel along the way. Again, clocked out over the weekend, so I have no clue what the other concerns are. That one, I don't even have to look up.
Well, we're still at war. So,
okay, but we're like, as I understand, because I did a lot of catching up in the 4 o'clock hour and 5 o'clock hour this morning just by listening to the Fox News Rundown and America in the Morning. But once again, rinse, repeat, Donald Trump feels like a deal is on the horizon. So, so we haven't been fighting recently. Called off attacks. Big attacks.
Well,
Huge.
And here's something too. Israel worries Hamas could publicly hand over some weapons or strategies and then secretly kind of hoard some. I don't know.
Okay.
That's what I was saying.
There's too many players in the game.
Right.
Too many players in the game for it to make sense.
Acting Ag Todd Blanche has
AG, not
acting
Attorney General.
Acting Attorney General. Todd Blanche has rescinded President Trump's $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund.
This is the one about the court system? Is that?
I think so. Yeah.
So this was apparently the big hang-up with those 2 Republican senators who weren't going to vote for him, who weren't going to vote to confirm him. So they're like, you know what? Wipe that off the map. Get the vote. Get him in. And then I wouldn't be shocked to see it come right back because both of those senators are gone after November.
Right.
One's, swearing in January, but both of those senators are gone after this term. So the 2 that had the hang up about the anti-weaponization fund, they both have, you don't have to put it right back in next year. Those 2 guys are out. So now, but to go along with that though, you don't know what to make of the Senate or the House is going to be next year. So
that's true. So who
Yeah,
knows
yeah.
at this point? The Sopranos, Brian, unfortunate news over the weekend. Actor Vincent Pastore passed away over the weekend at the age of 80.
I know. I know. Well, we can't say his character's name. Well, actually, we can say his character's name.
Oh, can't we?
Sal Bumpancero is that's his character's name.
Yeah.
We can't say his character's nickname, how he was actually known on the show.
Big Cat.
Nah, we're gonna skip that. We're gonna skip right past. Sal. But here's the thing, though. Yes, known for The Sopranos, but go look up any mob movie, comedy or otherwise. He had a small role in just about anything
That's
where
what
you
I'm
need
saying.
right. The stereotypical Italian mobster guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was the guy. I mean, everything from I want to say everything from like. Remember that terrible movie Mickey Blue Eyes? I thought it was fun, but Mickey Blue Eyes with Hugh Grant, where he's marrying a mobster with James Caan's daughter. Okay, so he was in that.
He was in Revolver.
Revolver, I don't know what that is.
Just a mob kind of, in 2005.
Okay. Okay, this is going to be a throwback. Gen X, get ready. Do you remember the Jerky Boys movie?
No.
Oh, when the Jerky Boys came out with a movie, 96, 97, somewhere, he was in that.
Okay.
Every time you turned around, he was in another one just like this.
You know what's pretty cool? He actually had a notable appearance, or should I say his voice did, in Shark Tale in 2004. I didn't know that.
Excellent.
So cool.
Yeah. So Sal Bumpancero passes away at the age of 80. So I'm starting to wonder, like, how much of the Sopranos cast is gone now.
That's what I'm starting to wonder, because a lot of them were older when they were casted.
And the show's been off the air for 20 years now.
Yeah.
So
they weren't teenagers when they got casted, so they were older.
Right. What was the other one? There was another big one that Vincent Pastore was in. And I got to do a less scrolling, but
Deuce is Wild.
Oh, no. Okay, hang on. It was. So this is totally like inside baseball within the show, right? But if you've been around long enough, you know that Friday nights in the Haldane house is tequila and Blue Bloods. And the number of Sopranos actors who made appearances on Blue Bloods over the years.
Really?
Oh, it's like everybody but Tony and Livia. I mean, it was everybody.
Was it like notable enough that they are just a cameo?
Was noticeable. Like very and I'm not gonna say.
I want to say his name.
It's so hard not to say his name, but he made an appearance as well. So he was in that number too. All right, we got a big show lined up for you today. We're going to talk wills later on this hour. Katelyn Gunn is an attorney who specializes in that. August is National Will Month. We got Moral Dilemma Monday coming your way. Medical Monday in the 7 o'clock hour. Going to check in West Baton Rouge Parish at 7:35. Annie Claire Bass is now heading up the West Baton Rouge Chamber. She'll be coming by. Mark Romig from New Orleans and Company to lead off the 8 o'clock hour at 8:05. Talk about everything under the sun with Moon. Actually, talking about qualifying week with Moon. I want to know what surprises are out there. We've also got the BREC Room before it's all said and done. What did you say, Breland? Okay. Before we take our first break, though, want to remind you about Mathern's. Going to be a lot of back to school going on this week on the grade school level, middle school level, high school level. Yes, college just around the corner. And once LSU gets back in, it is time to redirect your attention to the Mathern's on campus. Parents, if you've got kids who go to LSU and live on or near campus, Mathern's is your full-service grocery store right there on campus. Two things to note with this. Before they move in, go get them a gift card and just load it up. Go get them a Mathern's gift card and load it up. That way you know they're getting their groceries right there on campus. Number two, they're going to get a 10% discount every time they use their student ID. And that's not just students, mind you. Students, faculty, and staff at LSU, 10% discount when you flash your student ID over at Mathern's. And if you download the Mathern's Rewards app, you're earning cash towards more groceries every time you shop at Mathern's. Coming back, we're talking Saints next. It's hot in here, too. Like, I'm burning up. Well, the fourth floor, I walked upstairs just for a quick second. The fourth floor felt fine. I don't know where to see, but it's fine out here.
Oh, it's freezing out there. Good morning, Miss Judy. How was Brian Adams, Miss Judy?
I don't know where the thermostat is.
Here you go. You sure that remember Landon showed us? It's in that room.
What?
By the bathroom. Remember?
Thermostat?
Yeah. On the wall. Yeah. Ooh, it's cold here.
I adjusted it by a degree. It's in the mechanical box. Yeah.
Alan, it says it's hot in here. Too early for Nelly.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Ray keeps saying
Who?
Ray. He's like the first school parish to go back. I'm like, you missing one, Ray? Bases goes back today.
Oh, well, then I mean that.
Great Hearts goes back Wednesday. All the charter schools go back early. Oh yeah, Alan, that's everywhere. I was fishing.
Unbelievable.
I saw your little boy caught his first fish. Sweet.
Yeah, and then caught his second and his third, his fourth, his fifth, and .617, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. It is sports time. 2 quick sports items here. We got the Saints we're going to talk about in just a second, but I got to give a shout out to my boy. The very first sports item of the morning comes from the CCA Louisiana Fishing Rodeo over the weekend, as number 2 in the Sheepshead division was yours truly, bested only by my son, taking number 1 with the Sheepshead. Huge fish, by the way. And there's pictures to back it up. So this isn't just some fishtail. This is actual pictures to back it up of just the fish and the trophy presentation. We had a great weekend. Shout out to David Cresson and LCA for the invite, and the folks at CCA for putting on one of the most hospitable events I've ever had the pleasure of attending. It was phenomenal from start to finish. Just could not be. The hospitality just oozed. It just overflowed with welcoming, with unbelievable amounts of food, probably too much alcohol, and a whole lot of fishing. I mean, even like this, the water, like with the wind and everything, was not optimal, and we still got it done. We still had an unbelievably great time. So shout out on that, and I might bring it back up a little bit later, but just could not be more appreciative of the efforts. All right, so with the Saints, head coach Kellen Moore, and I'm grabbing this audio from our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network, did confirm that defensive tackle Brian Brzee will be undergoing season-ending ACL surgery. Brzee suffered the knee injury on the first day of training camp. Veteran interior defensive lineman Devon Godshaw says it was a freak accident. ACLs often are, but he's still determined to bring the best out of the unit on that defensive front. Cut 19.
I expect us to have a big year. When we handle our part, everybody stays healthy. You got a freak accident like Brian Haldane first day, and it was like a freak accident. Hardly wasn't even no contact. Just really was a pass rush move, and he felt his knee buckled. But expecting a big year, so I want to feel great about myself, and I want to feel great about dominating this season.
And let's hope so, because there's a lot of pieces that are in the right places right now. Brazil is going to sting. Losing Brazil is going to sting, but they'll fight through it. Here's the Fox Business Report. Mm-hmm.
Aww, he's beautiful, that fish. Look at him. Did y'all bring any back to like skin?
Oh yeah, they cleaned them for us. I haven't cleaned a fish in 30 years because I haven't been fishing in forever. But sheepshead are hard as hell to clean, and they did it. I mean, I was expecting to have to like fumble my way through it and butcher the first one to like. Because it just watching them, it's like riding a bike. As I watched, I was like, yeah, I remember this. But they're like, no, we got it. So I went and helped clean up.
Well, I haven't cleaned a fish in forever. I grew up fishing until we did it, but I've always heard that though, that she said.
Oh, it's just hard as hell to cut through. Right.
Yeah. I wish these windows open because we could put a window unit in it. Not that fun, probably wants that, but
Well, you also don't want that noise in the background.
that's true. I could probably turn it on when I get here and have it crank and then turn it off. But you don't want that.
I don't know that it's cranking at all, though. Well, it said it's 72 in here right now, so, but it's not 72 in here. It's 72 out there.
Well, in the other side of the building, that went out on property. I don't know if you knew that. And so in BT3, what we're trying to something.
Oh, this is me.
We were burning up.
All right, you heard Ray reporting in our last traffic update that schools will be getting back in this week. And yes, that is true. Not just all the individual school districts that are getting back in, but be on the lookout because your charter schools start in at a like a tapered level throughout the week. Now, as far as your traffic right now on this morning is concerned, we are looking at not a whole lot of volume out there yet. I-12 westbound coming in from Livingston Parish, you're about normal, about what you would expect for this time of morning. It's going to be slow going. Well, not slow going, but you will have some friends out there on the road in between Range and the river. And then again around O'Neill Lane all the way up through Millerville. And that's really the only slowdowns I'm seeing on the interstate. Now, there is something reported on I-10. Let's see what this is all about. It's I-10 westbound on the upslope of the bridge. There is a lane closed. Now, that does not mean that there are delays as a result of it yet, just letting you know that there is a lane closed. The good news is it's not related to an accident because there are no surface street accidents to report. There's actually no accidents to report, just a little bit of volume. That's really good traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. .624 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Reminding you about 180 Pros. 180pros.com is the website. 180 Pros, not your IT provider. They are your IT partner, And the difference there is all the difference, y'all. And one of the things that you might overlook when building out your system, when building out your network, small business owners, think about this for just a second. If you are a small business owner and you don't have a full-on IT department, do you also have a department for social media, or just you have someone for social media? Or do you handle your social media on your own? Well, who's there on the front end when you're building out everything to make sure that you have the best equipment for your needs at the best equipment for your budget? These two things can work out really well. And 180 Pros, this is one of their areas of expertise where they excel beyond everybody else. I mean, yeah, the cybersecurity protection you get, yeah, it's beyond compare. Knowing your network inside and out and making sure you stay up and running, yes, that's also there for you as well. And having an IT partner who's in town, all of these things matter. But think about that on the collaboration end. Whether you're talking about building out for social media, whether you're talking about what you actually need versus needs versus wants versus, luxuries, visit 180pros.com or give them a call at 330-2200 for 180 Pros. So qualifying opens up this week and closes this week for the upcoming November elections. The congressional spots are probably going to be the biggest on there. We have not seen a whole lot of movement or a whole lot of surprises thus far. However, once Wednesday hits and things open up, I expect that to change significantly. I can tell you definitively, while Rick Edmonds is going to have a big popularity lead on the front end, there will be a few more candidates in that race who are ready to get after it, who are very much ready to get after it. There are, in the 5th congressional district, we already know who the big three are going to be. That's going to be Mike Eccles, Gabe Ferment, and Stuart Cathy. Those three right there are going to garner the most attention in that race. There will be some other people running as well, but those three will be the biggest ones in that race for the 5th. The 6th is where we're going to see some question marks, and some names that we haven't heard yet are going to come to the forefront this week once qualifying gets here. Now, we're 3 months away. Actually, 3 months from today, it will be Election Day. And again, audio courtesy of our friends at Louisiana Radio Network. The Secretary of State's office has put out its inactive voter list. That number is currently at about 447,000, according to, accounting for 15% of all registered voters. That's a huge number, y'all. 15% of registered voters are inactive. Trey Williams with the Secretary of State's office says there are two main reasons that voters are moved to the inactive list. Cut 4, please.
That is done from people that might have had a return of an address card sent back to us where something was undeliverable, or they might have not voted within the past 10 years.
So one common misconception is that being on the inactive voter list means you can't vote. That's not true at all. Just because you haven't voted in 10 years doesn't mean you can't walk in November and vote. You absolutely can. Williams says coming off that inactive voter list is actually very easy. Secretary Nancy Landry won't even make you write a 3-page essay explaining why you failed to do your civic duty for more than a decade. Cut 5.
All you have to do is come to the poll. You would sign an affidavit saying that, yes, this is where I live, and then you go in and vote.
This is one of those ones that bothers me because I take very seriously my right to vote and my duty to vote and my privilege to vote, because it's all three. And when you see voter turnout, election after election after election, being so low. Well, the president's not in the race. Okay, the president is one executive along the way. There are so many different races that matter from top to bottom. And I don't care how small you think the race is, they matter, or else they wouldn't have the office. Like the office wouldn't exist. So to me, voting is a very, very serious thing. I don't miss an election. But again, I understand, like, I'm a little bit more, I take it a little more seriously than most. But that being said, you can't go a decade without there being, at the very minimum, a presidential election. Or I should say, you can't go a decade without there being two. So it does kind of, you look at something like this, and I don't want to put everybody in this boat, but what's it take to get you to do some adulting? If you're out of the game for that long, what's it going to take to get you to do some adulting? I have to fill out an affidavit? Yeah, you do. By the way, if you want to check and see if you're on that inactive voter list, go to govote.com. Of course, it's GEAUX, govote.com. Williams says when you're added to the list, the clock starts running towards being removed from the voter rolls altogether.
You have 2 federal election cycles to come off of that inactive voter list. And if you do not come off the inactive list in those 2 federal cycles, then your voter registration is canceled.
And I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I know when you register to vote, you should be registered to vote. But when you've actively said, and you're actively saying by missing election after election, when you've actively said, I choose not to play in this game, okay, then we're going to take you off the roster if you don't want to play in the game. And then get back in it and go re-register. Anyway, 3 months from today is election day. Later this week is qualifying. That was the whole point of that little segment right there. We're at 6:30 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Time for us to check news, traffic, and weather. We're going to go right into Katelyn at 6:35 because I think it runs a little bit long. I cut 3 minutes out of it this morning. No, it's open in Adobe. Yes, I'm sorry, to answer your question. Yes, it's in July's folder, but I took care of it for you. And good morning, Christy. Damn it. I was hoping they wouldn't have the story at this time. Thank you so much.
It was nice to talk with you. Thank you.
August is National Make a Will Month, so let's talk a little estate planning with estate planning and administrative specialist Katelyn Gunn. Good morning. Welcome aboard. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
No, glad to have you on here. Glad to be talking about this. Want to get an attorney's perspective here. Going to start with the broadest question out there. Who needs a will?
I mean, everyone, right? I think for some people it's more imperative than for others, but there are some very kind of basic things that a will can accomplish for everyone and anyone. I think the thing that obviously when people think about a will, it's like, well, I want to say who gets what.
Right.
If you don't, then Louisiana law will kind of dictate where your things go. Now, that's often very much in the same way that someone probably would have set it up in their will. But the things in your will that, people may not consider is what we like to call independent administration. And that is a key piece for having a very streamlined probate process. If you authorize your executor, which is the person who's in charge of managing your affairs immediately following your death, if you authorize them to be an independent administrator, that really takes the court out of the equation. You don't have to ask for approvals. You don't have to adhere to a lot of formalities that you otherwise would have to adhere to. So that's one of the big things that really is a benefit of having a will, even if, you would leave your assets in the same way that the law might otherwise direct them.
What constitutes a will? What makes up a will?
So in Louisiana, we have very specific form requirements, and there are really only two ways to have a will. And I think this is really important in the age of AI and, LegalZoom before that. You can't just tell AI what you want to happen and have it spit out a will and be like, okay, I'm good. In Louisiana, you can have a notarial will, which if you go to an attorney, that's what you're going to end up with. And this is, a normal kind of typewritten document on paper printed. But there, again, the form requirements are very specific, and the courts are pretty strict in enforcing those form requirements to find that your will is valid. So for a notarial will, you're going to have to sign your name on the bottom of every single page. It has to be dated. There's an attestation clause at the end that has specific prescribed language that has to be there, has to have a notary, has to have two witnesses. Everybody has to be in the room when you're signing. So these are things that, your favorite AI bot may not tell you about in its desire to provide you with a will. Similarly, many people probably don't need to go to an attorney, honestly. There's an holographic will, and I think that is a great starting point. Honestly, my first will before I was even in law school was an holographic will. And what that means, it's completely handwritten by the testator, the person making the will, written, dated, and signed by that person. And that is a fully valid will, which I think is great in terms of accessibility that the law allows for those kind of two different avenues, because, in law school, we hear about making your will on the back of a cocktail napkin.
Right.
And that is certainly a thing that can happen. I would venture to say you need more space than a cocktail napkin, but all of that to say, there are form requirements, but there are multiple avenues to accomplish the document that really sets forth what's going to happen to all of your things upon your death.
Walk me through the process just a little bit.
Sure. So, for me, a client will call me and they'll say, hey, some terrible tragedy befell a dear friend of ours. It got me thinking, I want to do a will. So we talk about, my first question is, if you were going to talk to your, the person sitting next to you on a train, and you were going to explain to them what you wanted to happen to your things, that's what I want you to tell me. Like, I don't need fancy language. Just tell me what you want to happen, and I can tell you we can accomplish that for you. So we kind of talk through that. We talk through, sometimes it's particular things that they want to happen. Other times it's more of a protection mechanism for their children. And there are often many ways to accomplish goals, and we talk through those and decide what's the right fit for that client. And then, I do the drafting on my side, and then we kind of work through any kind of fine points. make sure everything is really in line and accomplishes the goals that they have explained to me. And then, we set up a meeting and they come in. Again, it's me, 2 witnesses, and the testator. We're all in a room together and we get signed up.
What happens if there's like missed assets and whatnot? I mean, how comprehensive do things need to be? And like, what's the process if there's something missed?
Yeah. So oftentimes we don't have an exhaustive list of your assets, particularly because you may make your will and then survive for another several decades, at which point your assets from the time you made your will to the time you pass away are very different. So oftentimes, there may be, we call them particular or specific bequests. And those are things that kind of come off the top. Things often are, jewelry. Mothers will want certain daughters or whatever to receive certain pieces of jewelry, or, fathers will have a gun collection that'll maybe get bequeathed to a son. So there are things like that people really want to specifically make sure goes to a certain place. But by and large, it's more of a catch-all. So it's more of after my specific bequests are given to the person to whom they are directed, everything else gets divided as follows. So it's just everything else is what you have on the date of your death. So it doesn't, people will say, do I need to bring in a list of everything I have? I say, no, I really don't need to know, aside from someone who's doing some tax planning and understanding financial assets to make sure we're properly addressing those. But for a quote unquote normal person who doesn't have a taxable estate, it really is just a catch-all. And so you don't have to worry about constantly updating it and that sort of thing. Now, even if, let's say if someone has a fancy old car that they've restored and they want to give it to their brother. Well, let's say they give it to their brother before they pass away, so they no longer own that asset when they die. That's okay. The legacy just doesn't have an effect. So you don't this is not something that you have to worry about constantly. For most people, you get it done. It's a huge, check off your to-do list for your personal, financial hygiene for your family. And then, of course, it's prudent to kind of dust things off every 5 years or so and just make sure, have the tax laws changed? Has my financial position significantly changed? And make sure everything is still accurate. But many people will have, at the time they die, their will may be decades old. And that's okay, because it works for them.
We're talking with attorney Katelyn Gunn. This is National Make a Will Month in August, and we're just kind of getting the rundown on what some of the particulars are. Katelyn, I do want to ask you from a different angle. Why is it that so many people don't have a will?
Well, I think for most people, it's not something that's particularly fun to think about, right? It is preparing for your death. It's, on a related scale of planning a funeral, right? It's not the most feel-good thing to do, except for almost universally when my clients are done with it, they are so relieved. They feel a weight off of their shoulders. They feel like they've done something really good for their families. So I think on the front end, there's some sort of, for some people it's a mental block. Other people, they don't maybe know what the process entails. It may feel bigger than it has to feel. And for some people, it is a really big undertaking, certainly. There are the clients with the taxable estates with, very significant amounts of assets. It's a very complex undertaking for them, right? But they're in a position where that's a worthwhile investment. For everyone like me and, a lot of my friends, it's just something, we need to make sure that our children are taken care of. We need to make sure that our spouse has what we need to have. And I think getting over that sort of mental hurdle is the big key.
What happens if you don't have a will?
So as I mentioned a little earlier, the law really fills in the gap. And so there are plenty of people who die without a will, right? This is not uncommon at all. For many of those people, the law is going to fill that gap and it will direct your assets to, generally some combination of your spouse and children. Now, if you don't have a spouse and children, it goes all the way out, right? So there is a whole sort of order of succession preference and who those heirs will be. But all of that to say is that the law is always going to fill that gap. Now, that's how you may end up with somebody, who maybe was never married, never had children, and then all of a sudden some, second cousin in a different state is inheriting some kind of windfall, which maybe wasn't that person's goal, but that's what the law calls for. People in that situation might all do a will to leave their assets to a charity or someone to whom they're closer, but would not be in the intestate line of succession under Louisiana law. But I would say for most people, the law is intended to kind of approximate what the person would have intended to happen to their assets.
Katelyn Gunn, appreciate a couple minutes this morning. Thank you so much.
It was nice to talk with you. Thank you.
That's not bad.
Oh, Lord, Aaron. They talking about the show at Texas Club. They, I don't know who took those photos, Aaron, but it was everybody singing. Just had the most obnoxious face, and they made a collage out of it.
All right.
Like, look, everybody looking like they're taking a,
Who is this?
the main Tiger Country at Texas Club, and all the artists, they just got the most horrendous photos of them. So that's why Aaron goes, in my will, I'm going to leave Breland her favorite pick of my kid from the weekend. Because it's the most obnoxious, like them singing, it looked like they're dying.
Oh. Let's find. That can't be right. That's better. What's the name of that apartment complex across downtown? The Heron. 652 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. All right, we do it about this time every Monday. We dive into a discussion where there is no right. Well, you know what? The announcer guy says this better than I do, so let's just hit it. It's Moral Dilemma Monday. All right, it is time for Moral Dilemma Monday here. Yes, no right answers, no wrong answers. Thank you for that, Neil. Greatly appreciated as always. So on today's Moral Dilemma Monday, I want to throw this out to the parents right there as it's almost back to school time and on the college ranks. It's back to school time all week long along on the grade school ranks. But a recent study shows that right at, and I mean 32.7%. A record 25.2 million adults under the age of 35 still live with their parents as of last year. This according to new research from Realtor.com. That's nearly 1 in 3 young adults and higher than even the pandemic era count. But the more surprising finding is just how many of them are working. Quote, roughly 70% of the 25 to 34-year-olds living with their parents are employed, says Hannah Jones, senior economist at Realtor.com and author of the report. That share held steady even as the overall co-residence rate climbed, meaning the growth is coming from working adults, not people waiting to find jobs. So here's our Moral Dilemma Monday question. When is it time to kick the kiddos out of the nest? I think it's a legitimate question on a couple of different fronts. The old school mentality would be you're finished with college, you're out on your own. You're going to have to budget the right way. You're going to have to figure it out. You're going to struggle a little bit. There's going to be, as Dave Ramsey would say, beans and ras and beans. There's going to be a lot of ramen noodles. I understand all of that. The flip side of the argument is, if you're booting them that soon, are you setting them up for success or failure? Yeah, they need to struggle a little bit to build up a little bit of being able to face adversity, being able to overcome a challenge and dig deep within themselves to know what they're capable of. But at the same time, though, that does not necessarily mean you're setting them up for success.
I'm going to probably take an unpopular opinion on this.
Okay.
With the cost of living, I wouldn't kick my kids out so soon out of the coop. So I did some research on this.
Okay.
Home prices versus wage growth. Now, this is median over the nation, like every city. In 1985, the median U.S. home price was $82,000. The median household income, $23,000.
Mm-hmm.
Your price to income ratio, 3.5 times today.
Mm-hmm.
The median U.S. home price, $420,000. Median household income, $83,000. Price to income ratio, 5 times.
Okay.
So I'm looking at it as, I know my baby, I know my child's going to struggle. So as long as he is working and he's in that 72%, you're not just going to bum it and play at spots at home.
Okay.
If you are working and you are contributing, you can leave when you're ready.
What does contributing mean? Part of the electric bill, part of the
groceries. I would even say, obviously, you have to cover your own gas. You have to pay your own credit cards if you choose to use them, etc. Mom's not helping you out with anything, and you definitely have to put groceries in the fridge.
Oh, look, anything that does not include the actual rent. Your phone bill, your car insurance, your every other budgetary item. But I would take one step further and say
you got to pay rent.
No. I'm not, because that defeats the purpose. If you're going to make them pay rent at home, they might as well be paying rent somewhere else, right? You could set up a much lower rate of rent at home. So you were looking at home prices, correct?
Right.
As in for purchase.
Yes.
Okay. A good $1,500 to $1,800 a month will get you into a nice 1-bedroom apartment in Baton Rouge. A nice one. I'm not talking about like Mall City. I'm not talking about like someplace where it was built 50 years ago and just is still around today. I'm talking about a nice apartment in Baton Rouge, like say downtown, the Heron or the River House Apartments up Nicholson.
Yep.
Something that was built within the last decade or two that is not going to be in an area where you have to worry about getting from your car to your front door. $1,500 to $1,800 a month is going to get you covered. However, if you're basing your rent off of 33% or less, 33% or less of your overall income, if you're going to pay $1,500 a month for rent, you need to be making $55,000 or more. So now we need entry level jobs that are at $55,000 or more. So I would say if you're staying home rather than paying rent, and I'm with you on all the bills, by the way, where you know, hey, this is what our internet is every month. You're going to kick in for that.
Yep.
Because
everything's half.
Right.
You're living here, it's like half electric, half internet.
Half? Oh, how many people you got living at home?
Well, I have 3 little boys at home.
But here's the thing, though. So, like, let's say my oldest daughter, right? She's going back to Southern Miss this week, right? So when she's done with school, she's going to be 1/5 of the people in the house. So shouldn't she be paying 1/5 of the bill?
Right. So for me, it would be 1/5 because we have 5 of us. Okay,
so
I see what you're doing there.
In lieu of rent, what I would say is you have to start saving at the level of rent.
Yes.
The money doesn't have to go back to me. The money has to go back into your future so that you're investing in yourself.
Right.
The money has to go into setting yourself up for success long term, as opposed to just saying, I did it this way, you need to do it this way.
Yeah, I got kicked out at 18. You know, not kicked out. I mean, I chose to leave,
you're right.
but
right. You just naturally move out and never move back home.
Right.
The same thing happened. Same thing with me. Moved to Baton Rouge to go to school. While I was in school, met the woman who would become my wife.
Yes.
And I just never had a reason to go back home again. I never had a reason to move back in to the house. But a lot of people, they're on that front where they know what they majored in. They know what they want to do with their life, but they've taken a different job that doesn't cover that, you know, that level of expense. So let's post up over on Facebook Live. We're live on Facebook every single day, courtesy of the folks over at Lady Urgent Care. Want your feedback on this one big time. When is it right to kick the kids out of the nest?
And do you say, back in my day we did this, so yeah, you have to do it as well?
Right, because I find that
changed.
That defeats the purpose to me.
Yes.
But at the same time, I don't want to make them soft.
Right.
We'll talk about it as we hit news, traffic, and weather at the top of the hour. The conversation continues in the chat over on Facebook. We'll see you there. Sorry, I was just guessing on the time. I didn't know how long till we were out. Yeah. Nobody wants to play with this one.
I know you got cheering. Oh, okay. Christian said it's not so much kicking them out, but rather cutting off the gravy train.
No, yeah, cool. That's yes, but does cutting off the gravy train is that? Oh, I need a follow-up comment from you, Christian, because that's a great start to a conversation. The follow-up is, what defines gravy train? I'm gonna go see if there's a box fan somewhere to push that cold air this way. Yeah.
I wish that thing put off. It's just a heater though. Hey, Boo-Boos. Well, I'm gonna let you go. I didn't know if they were. Did they do walk up this morning? Did they see the booster moms? Oh, because they were looking for them. The ones in tutu. The ones in. Oh, because they have it down to a science this year. Like as far as there's only 60 families that have walk up, shit like that. You know what I mean? Like my booster family and the ladies in the tutu were looking for them this morning. All right. Well, I wanted to wish him a happy first day. I'll let you go. All right, bye. My oldest son, Scott, he was like, time to go to school. He goes, I don't like that.
If they stay, they going to pay like they had an apartment. Real world, peeps. At the same amount.
If they stay, they don't pay.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say I'm going to be working out of the office today. Just go pack my shit up. And I got meetings downtown, so I need to be in the building. I might go hit up that first floor conference room and make that my remote office today.
Well, not that you like French truck, but you can go to French truck and park it and work off the Wi-Fi.
No, there's places in the building that are still air conditioned. I'm just not going to be in my office. Byron says, all kids are different. I don't mind helping mine if they are being productive. The trick is to make them not want to move in with you, like playing 80s music constantly. That would backfire with my oldest. That would just be like constant karaoke in the house. .705 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Breland producing as we broadcast live from the 180 Pros studio. Couple brave souls got in on this one. Couple brave souls got in to say nope, hit the bricks, or as Debbie said, if they want to stay, they gotta pay. Talk about last hour, our Moral Dilemma Monday, which, by the way, if you still want to sound off on it, our Moral Dilemma Monday, talking about when's the time to boot the kids out the nest. It's Gen Z is showing a third of young adults 24 to 35 are living at home. And when's the right time? I don't know that there is a right or wrong answer to that question, which is why it's Moral Dilemma Monday.
And here's the shocking one about that whole article. 70% of them living at home are working.
Yeah.
I would think they're just bumming it out.
What? No, but see, that's the thing, though. Okay, and a follow-up question to put in the chat, and then we got to move on because we got a busy hour, right? Follow-up question to put in the chat is: are you more likely to be easier on them if they're working hard, or harder on them if they're not working? If they're just sitting there playing Xbox all day, you gotta move your butt.
I know.
You gotta go. Get up and do something. But if you're showing that you're willing to hustle, you're willing to earn, you're out there, you're crushing it, right? You just don't have the income yet to afford something decent, or you have some kind of longer term plan to say, I would rather stay home and buy a home. I would rather stay home for like 2 years and save towards a down payment on a home rather than just paying rent every month. Like I get on board with that plan.
Yep.
I'm here to, I'm a parent. I'm here to help.
Right.
So, all right, this hour we got Medical Monday. This hour we're checking in West Baton Rouge with the Chamber. Annie Claire Bass going to join us later on. Right now, though, we start off your hour with top stories and trending. Among the new laws that took effect over the weekend was the Mall of Louisiana Shooting Response Bill that was written by Jeff Wiley. As of Saturday, gang violence resulting in death in public venues is now defined as first-degree murder. We'll be taking a look at a handful of the new laws that went into effect over the weekend over the next 2 weeks. As I wrote that poorly. We'll be taking a look at a handful of the new laws that went into effect over the weekend over the next 2 weeks. How about I read? Let me try that over. Take two. Cut. We'll cut this in post, right? There we go. Among the new laws that took effect over the weekend was the Mall of Louisiana shooting response bill by Jeff Wiley. As of Saturday, gang violence that results in death in public venues is now defined as first-degree murder. Over the next 2 weeks, we'll be taking a look at a handful of the laws that went into effect on August 1st. Much better that way. Friday, the Louisiana Supreme Court upheld the constitutionality of Act 748, the law reforming New Orleans' courts. This reversed the lower court's ruling that blocked the law from taking effect. Now, Act 748 reforms the structure of New Orleans' courts by reducing the number of criminal district court judgeships from 12 down to 9 as their current terms expire. Attorney General Liz Myrtle announced over the weekend that Louisiana will be joining Florida and Alabama in an investigation of Anthony Fauci, and whether or not, in light of recent events, they find that Fauci lied when he was deposed by Louisiana, Missouri, and claimed not to recall a lot of his own actions during COVID. One person's dead after a shooting Saturday night off of Starring Lane. Call came in around 7:30 p.m. It was actually on Ryder Drive off Starring. Officials said the coroner was contacted. No other information was made immediately available. Louisiana is in the final stages of a deal to bring Elon Musk's SpaceX to coastal Vermilion Parish, where the aerospace giant is planning to build a new spaceport that will launch rockets into orbit from an 18-mile stretch of marshland about 45 miles southwest of Lafayette. I'm grabbing this from the Advocate. The prospective deal, which we've been hearing about for months now, right, would forever transform this remote area by bringing potentially thousands of jobs and a massive influx of aerospace and other commercial activity to the remote coastal community. What you got, Breland?
Israel has shared serious security concerns with the White House regarding the proposed disarmament deal with Hamas.
Too many players. Yeah. So we need Israel's permission to make a deal with Iran. The deal with Iran has to have the permission of Hamas. So I don't know how to find a new way to talk about it, you know?
Yeah, and here's the deal. It's Israeli spokespeople indicate Hamas remains intent on rebuilding its military posture. So it's just Israel saying, no, not so far.
Yep.
Acting AG Todd Blanche has rescinded President Trump's $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund.
Yeah, good. So apparently this was the sticking point for two Republican senators to not vote for Todd Blanche. So they pull it off the table, and hopefully that gets, or their hope is that gets the vote across the finish line to get him in as AG. Now the question is, does the $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund come back into play after these two senators are gone? One's not running again, and the other one was primaried. So, if everything plays out in November the way that Donald Trump wants it to play out in November, you can put this back on the table to start off next year. But I mean, the fund, by the way, the anti-weaponization fund was originally created as part of a legal settlement with President Trump over the leak of his tax returns, but faced intense backlash over it. So it just, this is like the previous story, dives into so many different buckets along the way.
Right. Actor Vincent Pastore passed away over the weekend at the age of 80, known for his role, Brian, in The Sopranos.
As Sal Bumpensero.
Yeah.
Everybody knows his nickname, but he's Sal Bumpensero.
I wish we could say it on the air.
I know.
He also played a role in Goodfellas, Awakenings, Carlito's Way,
Carlito's Way, yes.
All the films, all the mobster movies.
Yeah, he was the quintessential, mobster character.
Yep. Witness to the Mob in 1998.
Yeah. I'm pulling him back up here. So I had closed out that window because I thought, don't know why I thought that we were all done with that. He was in so many different.
Yeah.
Everybody knows him from Sopranos for sure.
He starred in General Hospital. I'm assuming he had a cameo in that. Yeah. Shark Tale, a kids movie. I guess his voice was in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, so many movies, not just mob movies, but so many movies.
Trying to get the full list of his credits here.
Everybody Hates Chris.
I don't need. What is that?
A 2005 TV series. Everybody Hates Chris.
Okay.
God, he had a lot of cameos in certain films too, but of course we know him from The Sopranos.
Yeah, and yeah, that's going to be the big one right there. But 80 years old. 80 years old, he's passed. So, I mean, look, it's hard to believe The Sopranos have been off the air for 20 years. That's hard to believe. Off the air in 2007, right? So 20 years since we've had The Sopranos, and it's as popular today, almost as popular today as it was then. I mean, the number of people who are still podcasting about it, still going back, watching it for the first time, breaking it down, and it holds up. It does hold up. I mean, if you've never seen it before and you want to go see it, beware. It is a lot more harsh than anything on TV today, but it's also a much better show than anything on TV today.
How many seasons was The Sopranos?
6.
Okay.
6 seasons, and there was a short lull in season 3 where it got a little bit boring for half a minute, but it picked right back up again. So, but add Vincent Pastore to the list with Tony Sirico and, of course, James Gandolfini and so many others who were part of The Sopranos who are no longer with us now, which you would expect after being removed from the air for 20 years. We are at 7:14 at Talk 107.3 FM. I tell you what, we're running a minute behind, so let's go ahead and take a quick break. Medical Monday is pre-recorded this week, so I'm going to disappear over the next segment. We'd like to give that heads up, but we do have Our Lady of the Lake and Medical Monday coming up next.
Checkup. This is Medical Monday, presented by Our Lady of the Lake Health.
As students get ready to head back to college, there's a lot to think about beyond just classes and move-in day. From annual checkups and sports physicals to stress, sleep, nutrition, and knowing where to go for care, a healthy start can make a big difference during the semester. Today, Dr. Matthew Baumgartner with FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, joins us to talk about how college students can start the school year strong and what families should know as they prepare for the transition back to campus. Also with us over on the hotline, we've got Ty Benefield from LSU. Good morning, Dr. Baumgartner. How are you?
Doing well. How are y'all?
Doing very well. Ty, how you doing this morning?
Doing great.
Glad to have you on here. We're going to kind of ping pong back and forth between the two of y'all to get the doctor's perspective and, well, honestly, a unique perspective coming in from the football team as well. But we'll start with you, Dr. Baumgartner. as families get ready for a new school year, what are some of the most important health check-ins parents should make before their kid heads back to class?
Sure. Great question. So one of the things that's really, great to do when you have a little bit of time before the school year really gets going and life gets busy, is checking in with either your primary care provider or like your pediatrician. Make sure that all of your vaccination, wellnesses, labs, anything that you needed to have done, get checked off of that list. So that way we know we're starting off on the right foot.
How important is this for parents as you are, as your kids get older, you let go more and more, hand off more responsibility to them. How important is the parent's role to make sure, hey, check in on this, because it can easily get overlooked?
Absolutely. Critical. Even when kids get to college and stuff like that, they may not know the right questions to ask. They may not know what their family health histories are, what things they've had done, not had done. And so the parent's role in that is very important, because it allows us to make sure that we have all the information we need to make sure that everything that they need is done.
Now, sports physicals are a big part of back to school for many families. I know as you get to college, athletes like Ty don't come around very often, but
Absolutely.
You do have intramurals, you do have club sports, you do have the rec center, whatever the case might be. So why are physicals still so important, and what should parents make sure it gets addressed during that visit?
Yeah, another great question. This is one of the things I always emphasize to any of our learning residents, doctors, med students who might be doing physicals with us. Once kids get to a certain age, they're not required to necessarily see the doctor every year. So if they're doing a sports physical, this may be the only time of the year that they're actually going to see a healthcare provider. Mm-hmm. And so it's a great opportunity for them to have their vision, their weight, their height, their blood pressure checked. And so, it's a great point of contact that, hey, we can address some things that may have gotten overlooked, because this may be the one opportunity for them to ask the right questions, get checked, have a physical exam. Comparatively
speaking, Ty, how well taken care of are you on this front? I mean, you've got to get every exam going through before you get out there on the field.
No, absolutely. I mean, we're very well taken care of. Got to make sure we get everything done, blood tests, physicals, and I'm honestly super thankful for it, though. Just for all the information that our healthcare people really take, and it helps us to be the best athletes, because they know what our body needs, and can cater to all that. So sure, it is a little tedious to get all those things done at once, but it's all for a great purpose, and it's going to help this team be the best team we can be this year. Absolutely.
We're talking with Dr. Matthew Baumgartner from FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake. We've also got Ty Benefield from LSU Football in with us for this Medical Monday. Doc, you work closely with a number of LSU students and student athletes. What are some of the more common health and wellness concerns that you see as students adjust to the new school year?
Sure. So one of the common things that a lot of kids might need is, like, for instance, if they're staying on dorms or on campus, they may have forgotten that they need certain vaccinations, including meningitis, done. And so that's one of the things that we offer to make sure they can get an easy transition into the school year. Another big thing that we see is a lot of kids may come in on different medications. They may be from out of state or out of country. And so they may need certain labs or things checked to make sure that the medications are working well, not causing any side effects. And so all those things are really important to have and take care of, to make sure that doesn't distract or interfere with their studies or athletics.
Moving over to Ty real quick. Ty, you're coming in from Boise State in California. Before that, how much has hydration been pounded down your throat since as your camp starts on the 30th or 31st?
Camp really officially starts on the 4th, but as you know, this week is like a kind of like a precursor. So we're handling it like camp right now. But hydration is the most important thing. And I've learned the hard way, so, being out here in this humidity and this different heat, being able to, I drink about a gallon of water a day,
awesome.
And that is instrumental to my success in practices, and will be instrumental to my success this year. So, just hydration and really putting those electrolytes in your body, and just even resting. Those are the most important things, but hydration is that key factor.
What else has been, emphasized along the way?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, eating right as well. You know, that's something that a lot of people sleep on. And I'm so thankful to be at LSU and with the food that we get, you know, at the Performance Nutrition Center. You know, that's like, you know, those people there work their tails off to provide us with the best food. And if you're eating right and practicing those habits daily, you know, eating fast food once in a while is okay. But if you're eating right all the time, like, you can only see that your performance on that field is just, you see yourself feeling better while you're playing better. So that's something that's definitely slept on, but it's something that's super important.
Dr. Matthew Baumgartner, Ty Benefield on with us for this Medical Monday. Dr. Baumgartner, through the Championship Health Partnership, FMOL Health and LSU are working closely together. How does that partnership help support both students and student athletes?
So on both fronts, for the students, FMOL helps sponsor and staff the Student Health Center, so they help with the support there. Student Health Center, any students, regardless if they're undergrad or graduate, can go to the Student Health Center, and they have pretty good comprehensive care. They have a lot of the not only primary care, but a lot of subspecialties like dermatology, psychology, psychiatry there. And then on the student athlete side, we have a team of doctors, surgeons, specialists, nurses, athletic trainers that try to take care of the student athlete from the moment they get there. As Ty kind of referenced, one of the things that we do is we do a very large comprehensive exam on any incoming student athlete, from their health history to any surgeries, medications they might be on, and they get seen by, you know, a litany of specialists from primary care, orthopedics. They take mental health screeners, everything that we can try to do to make sure that we're taking care of them as best as possible.
Ty, I kind of want to flip the question on its side a little bit for you, because the student athlete's perspective is going to be a little bit different. As camp is almost here, as you're ready to hit the field, everyone knows you don't want to miss a rep. So how important is it to take advantage of the services that Our Lady of the Lake are offering to make sure you're being proactive as opposed to missing out by being reactive?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, it's super important. You know, using all the resources that you have at your fingertips is just the most important thing, because, you know, being at this super high level of, you know, college football at LSU, you know, you have every resource, and you know, the Lake is always there for us, and the resources that they provide, you know, it's abundant. I mean, they have so many resources. So being able to use those daily, maybe not even daily, but adding it to your routine and stuff, and just being and trusting those people, because they're great people. I mean, it's the most important thing, and it's going to be huge for this season, because, you know, it's going to be a long season, that's for sure. But and I mean that in the best way, but definitely for camp, staying ahead of things is the most important thing.
Well, it better be a long season, minimum 15 games, Ty. That's what we're looking at.
Absolutely.
That's with a bye. Doc, I want to go back to you real quick. For parents sending a student to college, what should they know about healthcare resources available to them on or near campus?
Absolutely. So in addition to the Student Health Center that I talked about, my clinic is the FMOL Family and Sports Medicine Clinic, is right off of Nicholson. It's right next to Torchy's and Starbucks. Me and my partner, Dr. Shaw, are there Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can schedule appointments. We will take walk-ins as well. We do any urgent care or injury 7 and up. And then for wellness and general primary care, we do 16 and up.
Right there in front of Mathern's.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Mathern's great sponsorship.
Yes, oh, it's great.
The Friday hot wing bar.
Oh, their lunches are insane.
Yes,
I tell people all the time, you're sleeping on Mathern's if you're not going there for lunch.
Gotta love that. Back to you on this one, Ty. And I want to talk about from a perspective of someone who has traveled a little bit, seen things at other universities and whatnot. Let's take this back to your parents and what their level of trust has to be to send you down here and put you in the hands of FMOL Health and Our Lady of the Lake.
Oh, 100%. I mean, my family, you know, putting all faith into, you know, the great people of, you know, the Lake. I mean, it's definitely, you know, a great decision, but there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, those are the people that are going to be handling if anything goes wrong. And, you know, regardless, seeing me every day and stuff like that. But, I mean, the trust is the biggest thing. And, you have to be able to put your faith in the people who want the best for you. And that's exactly what the people of Our Lady of the Lake, want for not only me, but for, the team and the people that come into their clinics, day in and day out.
When it comes to health and wellness, we've seen such an evolution, Doc, over the years. The term whole person wellness, what does that really mean for students balancing academics, athletic, sleep, stress, nutrition, probably a part-time job as well? What does that look like when you look at everything a college student is taking on?
Sure. And you can't build a house without a good foundation. So if you're trying to excel at one thing, but you're sacrificing your mental or physical health for that, it's that candle's going to burn out too fast. I tell people all the time, the brain is an organ just like any other. If you're not giving it what it needs, exercise, sleep, nutrition, it's not going to function at its best. You're not going to have the grades, the scores, the happiness that you could have if you're taking care of your whole body.
All right, Ty Benefield, your take on that. I mean, because you're in it, man. You're in the thick of it right now, or at least you're about to be. You've got all the things coming at you all at once, not to mention all the outside obligations that the modern college football player has to take on as well. How do you balance it?
For sure. I mean, definitely creating a routine for myself and sticking by that, but always remembering at the end of the day, like, rest is the most important thing. So getting to bed at an early enough time and getting everything done. I mean, and also throughout the day, just, surrounding myself with hydration and remembering, that I need to eat and stuff like that. So, but it all comes down to that rest, because that's the most important thing. I mean, we do a lot of things that exert a lot of energy, and, getting that back is the most important thing.
All right, so I'm going to separate this last question between the two of y'all. We got Dr. Matthew Baumgartner. We got Ty Benefield on with us. My last question for you, Dr. Baumgartner, is for families listening today who might want to get ahead of the back-to-school care or schedule a sports physical along the way. Where do they need to go to make an appointment, and how convenient is it for your clinics? We know how convenient it is based on the location, but where do they need to go to get the ball rolling?
So they can go on to Our Lady of the Lake's website. They have an easy patient portal that you can use to schedule online appointments. If you also want to not have to go online, you can call the Lake's main number. It connects to all the clinics in the call center. They can schedule you with whatever provider or location that's most convenient to you right there on the phone. Their number is 225-765-5500.
Ty, last one for you. We're going to make this one a little bit more about football. Once camp gets here, what are you most looking forward to? And as you look at LSU's schedule, do you have one opponent in mind that you're pinpointing as your, going to be the game you have your eyes on?
For sure. I mean, I'm super excited to just, play at a high level and be the best, person that I can be for my team. And, for my coaches, they put in a lot of work, and I can't wait to, just show the world this new LSU team. These guys put in so much work, and even the coaching staff, and it's going to be just amazing. But as for an opponent, not really, to be honest with you. I'm excited to just go out there and take it to everybody. It's due, and so I'm super excited again, just to be the best, the best I can be for my team and my coaches. So. Stay tuned, and we can't wait to prove it and show the nation.
He is Ty Benefield, LSU safety Ty Benefield. Of course, Dr. Matthew Baumgartner as well. Thank y'all both so much.
Thank you for being here.
Appreciate you, Ty.
Thank you.
Thanks, and good luck to the Tigers this year. Here's news.
Now we're on Facebook.
Save the dates.
I just figured.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. So your predecessor was a regular on this show. Yeah, it still is. She's one of the best. Love her pieces. So, but rewind the clock back to COVID. Okay. Adam Knapp was with the Baton Rouge Area Chamber at the time, and our president CEO Flynn Foster was on the board for the chamber.
Okay.
And during COVID, when there was no content that wasn't COVID, right? So I was struggling for something like new and fresh. And Flynn says, "Why don't you get Adam on once a week and just talk about business? We're trying to regrow business. Things we're starting to open back up a little bit. So regrow business. Like it'd be good to get information out there." So I got Adam on once a week. And once COVID started to wane and go away and whatnot, that kind of got a little bit diluted.
Yeah.
And it went from 1 week to every other week and every other week to once a month. So I decided, why not open this up to all the other chambers as well?
Yeah,
So we go Greater Baton Rouge, which the partnership 1 week, Ascension 1 week, and then Livingston's been hit or miss. When Anna was over at West Baton Rouge, that was great. And then, there's a void for a little while.
Right.
But now that you're there, if you want to come on once a month, kind of.
That'd be great. It sounds like Anna's doing good now.
Oh, yeah.
With her new role and everything.
Yeah. Oh, this nuclear thing
Yeah.
is going to be ginormous.
Really.
Yeah. You can always tell how big something's going to be by how much people hate it. How quickly the internet turns against you. I actually ended up asking the Deputy Secretary for the U.S. Department last Friday, as the Deputy Secretary of the U.S. Department of Energy, are we going to have three-eyed fish like the Simpsons?
Yeah.
I feel stupid asking it, but you have to shut the internet down.
Yeah.
Like it's whether you're talking carbon capture, data centers, nuclear,
It's tough. It's tough.
But it's like it doesn't matter what. Every time there's an advancement in something, it doesn't matter what it is. Remember when 5G towers were going to radiate our kids' brains?
The phones are, but
Yeah. Well,
that's in a different way.
Did y'all go anywhere this summer?
Well, we went to Orlando for volleyball, so that sort of was like our,
Yeah.
now I lived in the walls around whatever sport.
We just that was our summer as well.
Go with it,
Yeah.
But so that was fun. We did rehearsal for a day, and mostly we're at the volleyball convention or whatever. But it was nice. It was good.
Yeah, we were in Gulf Shores 2 weekends ago. And the only time, like the closest we got to the beach was looking out the window of the hangout because we went there for lunch.
Oh my
I
gosh.
know. We saw courts 1 and 3 regularly, but we did not see the beach.
Where did y'all like Gulf Shores High or where?
There's a sports complex,
In Gulf Shores.
yeah, which is awesome. It has the 4 courts in a row inside, the beach volleyball outside, and then the football field across the parking lot. You know which one?
Yeah, she played in the inside in the volleyball.
Hmm.
There. It was a few locations, Foley and then Gulf Shores, but she played one day there.
We actually stayed in Foley,
Okay.
which I wouldn't recommend.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Just stay at the beach.
Yeah, well, so the cost was ridiculous. So, but I mean, so
Yeah.
and there's a Days Inn online, magnificent, and we have an expansive breakfast with vegan options, and it's like a croissant in a bag. It's in a wrapper, Just we have the pool and the hot tub the pool was not what it looked like, and the hot tub didn't exist. Like exercise facilities, because Lola needed to be on a bike for her cross country.
Okay.
Just everything about it was like the smacking in your face of the real world.
So where was you?
736 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. I'm going to dive in with the West Baton Rouge Chamber here in just a second, but I do need to remind you about the folks over at Neurojust. NEUROJUST is the website. Neurojust.com is where you're going to find them online. If you or someone you know is battling with anxiety or depression. They've got those 6-foot waves just crashing around in their head. It's a constant fight or flight mentality, and it's exhausting. It can lead to isolation. It can lead to loneliness. It can lead to just separation, and it's not the right way. Now, if you know someone like this, or that you're in this boat, and you've tried to sit down, talk it out therapy before, well, that didn't really take for you, okay, give NeuroJust a look. If you've been on the antidepressants before and you hate the way they make you feel, give NeuroJust a look. They specialize in TMS therapy. It's called transcranial magnetic stimulation. And basically what this is, it's non-invasive, it's completely pain-free, it's FDA approved. What it is it targets the part of your brain that affects mood. I'll let them explain it a lot better if you just visit neurojust.com. They take care of you from the moment you walk through the door. You are the focus from start to finish. Neurojust.com. We are going to, well, no, we're going to cross the river, but the river has crossed. The West Baton Rouge Chamber has crossed the river to come hang out with us this morning. We've got Annie Claire Basson with us. How are you?
I'm good.
Glad to have you in here. Yep, you're doing well.
Making it this morning.
Yep. So let's start off with the basics. How's the new gig?
It's great. I'm really excited and honored, I feel like, to take on this new role. Sort of have the small business background, so grew up in small business pretty much my entire life. My grandfather had a department store in Marksville, where I'm from. I'm from AP, of Ols Parish.
Really?
And my mom was a florist.
You know, Ascension might have a problem with you calling a Voiles AP.
We're the original AP.
All right.
Say that.
All right.
Kidding. But so my mom was a florist and grew up in her flower shop, pretty much like at her feet. And then my sister and I opened up a brick and mortar storefront called So Sis Boutique over in on the west side. We've since closed our storefront and still kind of operate a little bit online. And I make jewelry and that kind of thing. So small business is in my blood, and it's something I'm super passionate about. And I just want to kind of, I have a different perspective, I guess, when it comes to the chamber world. I actually sat on the chamber board as a small business owner years ago with the West Baton Rouge Chamber. So I sort of know how things work. So I'm excited. I'm ready for this new opportunity and lots of really exciting things coming up.
Let's start off, before we get into where you want to take this gig, where you want to see West Baton Rouge go. I want to start off with kind of an evaluation of where you think West Baton Rouge is. What are some of the strengths and weaknesses of the other side of the river?
Well, I always like to start with weaknesses because I feel like we should end on a positive note.
Sure.
But obviously the big thing is the bridge. It's tough. And so if you're from there and if you live there, we all sort of come together and just have this understanding of we just make it work. And so we know, like, I live on the north side of the intercoastal. So I know I just check every morning, like coming here, I was like, which way am I going today? Old bridge or new bridge or whatever. So you just make it work. And a lot of people that don't live there don't quite understand that. They're just like, I'm not crossing that bridge. But if you can get over that mentality, I think it's a great place to live. It is kind of that small town feel with a big city. It's close enough in proximity to Baton Rouge. You have all those opportunities there, but still that small town and community feel.
Very, very much so. So how much of a new bridge would change that completely?
I mean, obviously it would be amazing.
Yeah.
And also I, would love to see the 415 connectors happen at some point. We'll see.
I have a lot more faith in that than I do the new bridge.
I do, because I think it will help those on the north side of the the south side of the intercoastal get around to the old bridge, or if they're just trying to get to Port Allen.
Right.
Like when I had my storefront, it was in Brewley, and trying to get home at that 5 to 6 o'clock range, or really 3:30 to 6 o'clock is when it starts. But it's tough. So if they can open that up, that would be amazing.
What's another? Let's stick with what's another weakness they've got on that side.
Those are just what comes at the top of my head, because it's like what I personally deal with, but I'm sure there's other things.
Is perception a weakness?
Perception? I would say so. Yeah, for sure.
That's because your predecessor had to deal with that a lot as well, that there's this belief that if you're on the other side of the river and you're talking a 5-minute drive with no traffic, you scooch to the other side in 5 minutes you can get to West Baton Rouge a lot better than you get to Livingston, for sure.
Absolutely. And I think, coming from Baton Rouge, trying to get to West Baton Rouge in certain times of the day, if again, if but it's really fine. And like coming from downtown to get across, it's 5 minutes.
Yes.
So I remember when I had my storefront, a lot of women would shop with me coming from downtown because that was really honestly the closest boutique they could find.
Yeah.
So if it's kind of changing that mindset of those people to say, hey, it's not all that bad. You just have to check the traffic and you'll be fine.
We got Annie Claire Basson with us from the West Baton Rouge Chamber. All right, positives. What are the strengths of West Baton Rouge?
Oh, the quality of life is great there. I mean, it's low key, it's quiet. Everybody, there's this sense of community that is like none other, I think. Everybody it's that family feel, but you're still close enough to Baton Rouge and other areas where you can kind of have that city feel too.
Sure.
So that's one of the big things for me. We have obviously industry is great there and lots of opportunity for growth there. Everyone that I'm meeting now, lots of exciting things happening within their companies and just expansions and growth and opportunities for jobs and things like that. So
talk to me a little bit about where those opportunities are. Is it just in the real estate that you've got that's available? Is it in the just having a, obviously the river is a big part of the whole thing.
Yes.
And we've seen down in Ascension Parish how you can turn the river around to maximize it like that. So where are the opportunities there?
So, I mean, I'm still learning, coming from us being a small business owner, I just have a different perspective. And so I'm learning all of the other economic development and larger business and industry right now. So I think what I'm learning from those business owners is that they're all eager to expand, and not only expand job wise, quality and equipment wise. So they're looking to kind of up their game in technology and things like that. So it's really cool to see, especially like we visited oh goodness, I can't remember the name of the company, but look, I'm learning. I'll get there and it'll come to me faster. But
absolutely.
But anyways, they produce pallets, wood pallets. Okay. But they have a lot of like excess wood chips and things like that. And so they're trying to figure out how can we utilize that extra stuff and not just go to waste. And it's backing up. So they need this piece of machinery in order to get that going. So it's just things like that, trying to expand and in the technology world and just grow.
Okay. So mixing technology with like actual people collaboration.
Yes.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
And collaboration is key.
Oh,
I think we all need to work together.
No, completely. And that's where I'm going with this next is because you've got a small business background and there's a heavy industrial in West Baton Rouge. So just very open-ended. Where do you want to take the gig? Where do you want to see like your direction of this office to help grow West Baton Rouge?
Yeah. Well, obviously my passion lies in small business. So I do want to see some of that just come to light and just highlight a little bit more. We do have a lot of great small businesses on the West Side. And I think just lifting them up is one of my, passions and something that I look forward to do. We have a lot of things coming up that I think will kind of pertain to that. One being the West Side Shopping Extravaganza, which is an event that we've been doing for, I think since 2017 at the Addis Community Center. It's coming up in August. And it's basically a way to bring a bunch of small business retailers together under one roof for one day and offer a really unique shopping experience on the west side of the river. And it's not limited to those who live there. I mean, anybody can come over. It's on a Sunday, so traffic should be fine. But that's one of our exciting events coming up. And then of course, Small Business Saturday is in November, which is a national holiday, but it is something that for the past however many years, we've really tried to elevate and make it a really big fun day. So that'll be in November. I have a couple of, can I talk about
no,
events?
go for it.
Okay.
No, that's exactly what we're doing. Let's go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then we have a luncheon in September. It's on September 16th. I'm sorry, I didn't tell you the date of the West Side Shopping Extravaganza.
Yeah, I was going to go back and follow up on that, but go ahead.
It's August 16th. It's
August
a Sunday.
16th. Okay.
Yes. And then, so the luncheon on September 16th will be at the Addis Community Center, and it's going to be called Bring Your AI Game. So I want to have we're going to have an AI panel discussion. So we'll have a panel of maybe 6 experts and a moderator to talk about AI, how it's changing, I mean, literally daily, and how companies can utilize AI in a safe way, and just have that open discussion about it. Just kind of like an introduction, but also, you know, across the board, we'll have a small business owner, we'll have someone who's a cyber security attorney, someone who codes AI,
Okay.
you know, so we'll have a variety of experts on the panel that we'll, you know, just chat with. And then at the end of the luncheon, we'll have a guest speaker come on. He's a well-known coach around here, and he just wrote a book, and he's won 3 state championships back to back. So you may know him. I don't know if you know him. His name is Brad Bass.
I heard of him. I've heard of him a little bit. Yes.
So
how'd you land that one?
I don't know. I might know him a little bit, but I think it'll be cool because it'll bring together kind of two totally different types of people in the same room.
Well, yeah, yes and no.
Yeah.
Because it's about leadership and it's about self-discipline and it's about being open to learning something new along the way. It's I'm 100% on board. Yes.
So I think it's I'm excited about that one.
Excellent.
And then let's see. Oh, I really want to talk about this. Okay, Leadership West.
Okay.
So it's a leadership program that it's been done in the past, and we're sort of bringing it back and reviving it.
Okay.
So we're excited to launch that. Actually, applications are open right now through August 15th. So if you know someone or if anybody's interested, we can share the link after this or whatever. But
we will. So we're going to post this audio on demand after we're done. We'll include the link in there in the written part of the audio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited about Leadership West. A lot of people have been asking for it, and I said, why not? Let's just do it. Let's go for it.
Absolutely.
So,
we got about 2 minutes left with Annie Claire Bass, who's heading up the West Baton Rouge Chamber. Was that all of the save the dates you had?
We have the industry roundtable in October, which is another. This will be a dinner.
Okay.
And so sort of same situation with a panel discussion with industry leaders, and we'll have guest speaker Dr. Loren Scott there.
Oh, fantastic!
It's amazing. So that's on October 12th, and then exciting pickleball tournament. Okay, it's going to be so much fun.
No. There's a huge history of me hating on pickleball, and eventually, it's just chipping away, and eventually I'm going to turn. Eventually, I'm going to convert. Yes, it's not dissimilar to my aversion to orange and black until I'm eventually worn down.
Okay.
So pickleball. Tell me about the pickleball. We got a minute and a half left. Tell me about the pickleball.
It'll be on November 2nd. It's a Monday. It'll be exciting. We'll be at the Bruley courts. There's 8 courts there, and we'll have some live music. We'll have food tents, drink tents. We'll have, obviously a pickleball tournament going on. So that I'm starting to add things to the website to try to get signups or whatever, but it's going to be so exciting. It's more than pickleball. I think it's just a way to bring the community together.
Yes.
And so maybe we can have you out there. I don't know. We
Sure.
can do some sort of radio, something there, but that would be fun.
We'll figure it out. I'm not averse to crossing that river. I'm a big fan of it because when I've gone over there before to do the show from, different events at the Addis Community Center, there is nothing like it is invigorating to see the level of people. I'm on my way over there at 5:00 in the morning. Right.
Yeah.
And the street's full. Highway 1 is full.
Yes.
It's super active heading in both directions.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it. It fires me up to see other people fired up.
Yes.
So that's where I'm at.
So that's exciting on November 2nd.
All right.
And that's really it for the rest of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
She is Annie Claire Bass with the West Baton Rouge Chamber. Great first effort.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Awesome. Very well done. We are going to take take a very quick break. Come back. We've got This Day in History coming up on the backside of that. 8:05. Mark Romig from New Orleans and Company is going to join us as well. That'll kick off the third hour right here on Talk 107.3. You can kill the mics. 7:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Thanks again to Annie Claire Bass for hopping on board. Talk a little West Baton Rouge Chamber. Great first effort, by the way. Once she really got rolling, she got rolling. That was awesome. We got This Day in History coming up in just a quick second. But first, let me remind you that for the last 115 years plus, the good folks over at ExxonMobil have been a part of our area, been a part of Baton Rouge, employing generations, leading with safety, and investing in the people who live here. I mean, who doesn't have ExxonMobil employees in their neighborhood, right? Well, today that work continues. And taking it into the future on a global scale means solutions like carbon capture and storage, helping support local jobs and open doors for what comes next. If you want to learn more about what they've got going on, visit aboutlaccs.com. They've built out a website with Q&A, myth busting, all of it, aboutlaccs.com. Where's ExxonMobil headed? Aboutlaccs.com. Time for This Day in History. Let's roll. All right, Breland.
All right, Brian, back in 1492, where we learned about the Nina Pinta Santa Maria, on this day in history, Christopher Columbus set sail.
Yeah. Yeah,
For
you
Spain.
know the last thing he said before setting sail?
No, what do you say?
Anybody else got to go? Because once we leave, we're not stopping. If you got to go to the bathroom, go now.
Oh, no. I'm thinking you're bringing some like actual history,
No.
but he might have, though. We don't know.
I will turn this boat around if you two don't stop acting up. That's what he said.
Oh, gosh. In 1914, Germany declares war on France during the opening weeks of World War I.
Really?
Yep, this day. 1949, the Basketball Association of America, known at the time as BAA, and National Basketball League, MBL, finalized their merger. It officially becomes the NBA on this day in history.
Very cool stuff.
1987, Def Leppard releases Hysteria, which goes on to sell over 20 million copies, become one of the biggest selling rock albums of all time.
Okay.
2023, former U.S. President Donald Trump, at the time former U.S. President, pleads not guilty to criminal conspiracy charges aimed with the whole 2020 presidential election at an arraignment in Washington, D.C.
All right.
What else you got, Brian?
I got on this day in 1975. This day in 1975, the Superdome opened.
Oh.
This day in 1996, you want to talk about big music news?
Let's talk
on
about
this
it.
day in 1996, the Macarena went #1 on the charts and it stayed there for 14 weeks.
Oh my gosh. And we still dance to it. Still to this day.
Yep.
Birthdays today. Let's see. Tom Brady has a birthday also.
He was hatched. He wasn't born.
He was hatched. Martin Sheen, known for his role in The West Wing.
Yes.
Let me see. Tony Bennett has a birthday today.
Yep.
Isaiah Washington, known for his role in Grey's Anatomy. That's really all I have that's notable or notable enough.
Martha Stewart's born on this day in 1941.
I didn't even have that. You would think that they would have put that on my list.
Yep.
Notable deaths. I don't have anything notable enough. What about you, Brian?
Nope. I skipped right past that this morning.
Okay.
I'm unprepared.
National Day today. National Friendship Day. There has to be something better than that, though. Let me see.
You think? Is there anything better than friendship out there?
It depends. Sometimes people can have a bad friendship. Let me see. Nope, that's really all I had. National Watermelon Day.
Nah, we'll stick with National Friendship Day. That works just fine. We are at 7:59 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. I'm going to squeeze in. There is just enough time for me to remind you about Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is their website. Been a community bank since 1897. Just had Annie Claire Bass in here from the West Baton Rouge Chamber. There's a Landmark Bank in Bruley. If you're in West Baton Rouge, Landmark Bank in Bruley. Look them up, landmarkbankla.com. You get all the locations with the About Us tab, locations and hours over there. But the importance of a community bank is beyond compare, and there is one on the west side. That would be the Bruley location of the Landmark Bank. You can learn more about that and all the locations at landmarkbankla.com. Oh. Oh, hey, wait. Let's do this before Mark calls in. Go ahead, grab that, put me on hold, please. Thank you. What?
I don't know, Alan. I'm looking it up. No, Alan. She's born in March.
That was mid-sentence. No, I'm listening to it. That was. I bet you they're trying to call the hotline. I bet you they're trying to call the hotline. I have to hang up so I can text Heather. .806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn producing, getting you ready for a busy hour. We're supposed to talk with New Orleans and Company right here. I'm waiting on them to get on in the queue, as it were. Also in this hour, we're talking everything under the sun with Moon in our next segment. And where we're starting in that segment is going to be this. Qualifying for the November elections is later this week. Are you expecting any surprises? For example, we know where the Republicans and Democrats are in the Senate race, right? Who else could possibly be getting in that mix as an independent or a third-party candidate? In the House races, the 5th and the 6th are probably going to be the ones that garner the most attention because there are no incumbents in either of those races. Who do you see getting in that we haven't heard from yet? I know of at least one name in the 6th. What else is out there? We'll talk with Moon coming up at 8:15. Also this hour, later this hour, we have got the BREC Room going to be coming your way at 8:35. And guess what? The new BREC superintendent is going to be in with us. Yep. We've got Brooks Williams, the new BREC superintendent, coming in for this morning's installment of the BREC Room. So a lot of ground to cover, and we will get to it as soon as is humanly possible. Let me see if I have a direct connection here. Work with me, y'all. Live radio, sometimes things run slightly askew, and we have to adjust on the fly. And work. Hey, Bree Lynn, come grab this and give him a call and see if he would, because the sheet says he's supposed to be on this morning. He might be having trouble trying to get through the hotline when it's the regular number he needs to call. So as we wait to connect with, call him from the regular number. As we wait to connect with New Orleans and Company, let me remind you about Guarantee Health Solutions. GuaranteeHealth.com is the website. Absolutely love the partnership with Guarantee Health. Rachel Fricke, the founder of Guarantee Health. This was an idea that was born out of really personal tragedy when Rachel had a loved one who was going through a health crisis, and the whole thing just felt very sterile, very transactional. There wasn't a whole lot of relationship building between doctor and patient. Well, how can you build that relationship out? How can you bridge that gap between healthcare and hospitality? That's the mission over there. And from that mission comes a 4-pillar program that does exactly that. You build, you sell, you deliver, you measure. Those are the 4 pillars. The details within, that's where the magic happens. So if you own or run a medical office of any sort, whether we're talking urgent care, whether we're talking about a primary care, whether we're talking about, if no worries, whether we're talking about a full-on hospital, you might want to give GuaranteeHealth.com a look, GuaranteeHealth.com. Hoping to connect with New Orleans and Company here. If not, we have plenty to cover this morning. I mean, we can break it early and hit up Moon if we need to. It's no big deal. We're good to go otherwise. So if not, no big deal. I just hate to miss out because summertime in New Orleans, while it can be scorching hot, has been remarkably successful. New Orleans has been hot all summer long with events. So just to kind of give you a quick rundown before we just completely postpone it. Culinary is on the way in New Orleans. In fact, it's all month long, August 1st through 31st. Culinary New Orleans is the city's annual month-long dining celebration. You know how we have Restaurant Week here in Baton Rouge? In fact, we just had Restaurant Week here in Baton Rouge. Well, in New Orleans, they do it for an entire month. Throughout the month of August, they do culinary. You are going to get more than 100 restaurants across the city offering specially curated prefix lunch, brunch, and dinner specials, dinner menus along the way. So, New Orleans is world renowned for the dining. If you wanted to check out what's going on with culinary, visit neworleans.com. I'm sorry, if you want to check out what's going on with culinary and wanted to make a trip down there, maybe book a couple nights stay, maybe an extended weekend before the kids are back in class, or once the kids are back in class and you want to scooch down for that first weekend afterwards. Visitors can pair culinary with New Orleans summer hotel promotions. You can pool these two together to get you some savings. You book 2 or more consecutive nights through neworleans.com. You'll receive a $100 Visa digital gift card to spend during the trip, and then match that up with a couple of really great dinners. So culinary going on all month long down in New Orleans. And that 2-night stay, that actually rolls over to a couple different things. It's a great promotion to boost up New Orleans throughout August, as is Museum Month. Oh, by the way, August is New Orleans Museum Month. So if you want to sneak away for a weekend, now would be the time to do it. Visit neworleans.com to get yourself started. All right, we're at 812 at Talk 107.3 FM. We will reconnect with New Orleans and Company to talk about, everything from the X Games that rolled through to Bocuse d'Or and the Pastry World Cup. We've got a number of things that are going to be have to look back on and cover, because New Orleans and Company crushed it throughout the summer. So we will look to reconnect with them probably later on in the week, hopefully tomorrow. Otherwise, it gets really tight, because programming note, Wednesday and Thursday, I'll be broadcasting live from Monroe, Louisiana for the Louisiana Municipal Association's annual conference, where we'll be taking a deep dive into the conference itself, but also I'm going to be a little bit greedy on this one and check in with Monroe, the city of Monroe. They're doing a lot of things right up there. And, when we have other cities in the state doing a lot of things right, it's good for the whole state. Yeah, but I want to see what I can copy and paste into Baton Rouge's playbook based off of what's going on up there. And we'll probably talk with Meta along the way as well. All right, we're going to stay on time. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll talk with Moon on the back end of the break. Before we take that break, though, industrymakes.org. Industrymakes.org is the website, the voice for industry, to really, as I like to say, return serve. When you see protests of any industry up and down the river, when you see the complaints, when you see the digital ads pop up, are they telling the truth? Is that the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Is there more to the story? Well, if you wanted to learn about that more to the story part of it, visit industrymakes.org. The industries up and down our river, they make everything from, the gas in your car, the tires on your car, the shoes on your feet. How about just about all the equipment you're going to find in a hospital that's going to save your life one day? It's all via the industries that we have in our own backyard. Industrymakes.org. Let others make noise. We'll make everything else. Okay. All right.
I've been good. Busy weekend this weekend, but the kiddos are back in school today, so it'll be fun. I do. My husband sent me a photo of the boys, and they're just, you could tell they're like not ready to go. Oh my God. Oh Lord.
Hey, tell him check his text before he comes on.
Okay. Right? Brian says check your text before you come on. Text. Yeah, your text messages. Okay.
He should have just gotten an incoming text from me.
He said you should have just got something. Okay, I'm going to drop you on hold. Oh, he said, oh my God, he's holding up a fish. He's killing me. Right? Okay, I'm going to drop you on hold.
817 Talk 1073 FM WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Every Monday we talk about everything under the sun with Moon. We got him on right now. Moon Griffon, how are you, brother?
Man, Brian, I'm doing great. Looks like I ain't doing good as you.
We had an incredible weekend. So can I tell you, as a dad fail, start off with the dad fail. My son's 10 years old. He had never been fishing until this past weekend.
Oh my God!
I know, and that's on me. I work too much.
No.
With the three kids.
Question is, did you get him hooked? Because if he's hooked, now your daddy gonna have to go.
All right. Well, first of all, pun, calling you out for the pun, but secondly, yes, we're bringing him along slowly though. He didn't dive all the way in to like handle the fish and whatnot, because you get a kid who's never been around a fish that comes into a boat. They're flapping all around, and you know.
Oh, yeah?
So. But no, he was on board for the first 90 minutes solid. He could not stop. And then as soon as, you're out there in the sun, the waves are rattling around, you've been fighting with a sheep's head that's like, he won number 1, by the way, in the sheep's head division. He got first place. So
he's good, Brian. He's good.
He's in now, which is awesome for me, because I can tell my wife all day long I want to go fishing. That doesn't mean anything. I tell him James wants to go fishing. Now we got something.
Brian, I bass fish, but I love the saltwater fish. And I had 3 boys, and when they came along, it was no problem getting to go fishing because the boys could put them in the boat.
Yep.
The one thing you have to learn is that you're out there for him, because what happens is, I promise you, I've been out there with dads that taking their kids fishing at 9 and 10, and they holler at them in the back of the boat, quit getting hung up. And I started one time, and I told my bride, I said, the day I take this kids fishing and it's about me, I will never take them again.
Yeah.
I said, when you take the kids fishing, make it about them, make it fun for them, and they'll enjoy it. And I never forget seeing that guy. I mean, he was ripping his kid. I thought, oh my God, they out there supposed to be having fun. So y'all had fun. That's what he remembered.
Oh, but I mean, that's really the dads that are going to be like that are going to be like that in everything in life. There are dads like, like the Williams sisters in tennis, they're just, there's nothing that's for fun. Everything is for serious. And with fishing, man, it's all about the number of lessons that James learned on Saturday from the persistence of that. So he caught more than a half dozen fish. Obviously we had to throw back a whole lot of them. Right. He caught a bunch of reds that were too small. He caught a couple of speckled trout in Bell's Pass. And that big old sheep's head that I texted you the picture of. But that fish puts up a fight, and you got to and I'm not thinking, you got to think as a 10-year-old kid, he's got to outlast that fish, have the persistence, not clock out. I mean, we live in a TikTok and Instagram reel society where if it's not done in 15 seconds, it's not worth it. He had to fight that fish the whole way in, and he did it from start to finish, and it was awesome. So I'm all about the lessons.
I tell you what we need to do when it gets cool. You got a weekend, you can slide over here. I got a buddy of mine that lets me fish this farm pond. It's about 22 acres. We'll drop him in the boat. He's guaranteed to catch fish, and he'll have more fun doing that in 2 or 3 hours to keep him interested. If it gets too hot, we go home.
Yeah,
and that's just a great experience. I've always, since 6 or 7, love to be in the water. I can go to Grand Isle and go fishing and not bite, and I stay out that cast. And it's just, I just love it. But some people, like you said, the fast-paced world now, they want it yesterday. And that's not fishing. It takes a little while. Sometimes you don't catch them, ladies, you know. So, but it looked like y'all had a blast, and that's what it was all about anyway.
No, absolutely. And there is not a more first-class organization out there than what Rad Trashers running at CCA.
Right? No. They those guys do a great job. They've always done a great job, and they can be proud of who they are. We've had them on the program and supported them a lot too, Brian, because they do a great job.
Yeah, and Rad's predecessor, who's over at LCA now, David Cresson's where I got the invite from. The amount, the hospitality from start to finish, it made for an absolutely perfect weekend. So it was me, it was Christy, it was James. The girls stayed back, so shame on them, but could not have been a better event.
I fished with my brother down in the basin, and I think we caught 20 plus fish. So we had a good day too. It was all good.
Now you saw that second picture I texted you, the one with the redfish.
Yeah, that was really nice. Please tell me you caught it. You weren't just holding it for a fish.
No. That was me. That was my catch, and I had to throw it back, Moon, because the max on the redfish was 27 inches, and that one was 28 or more.
No, I was going. When I saw it, I said, Brian didn't keep that one because I knew it was a 27-inch limit. You either could catch them, you catch them below a certain number. You can't keep them. You catch them above. A certain. What is it? 16 inches. You got to keep them if they over 16.
It's 16 to 27.
Okay, that's it. Yeah.
Or was it 13? But it was somewhere up in there. The moral of the story was my redfish was too big. I had to throw it back. But oh my word, how disappointing to hold that bulk of a redfish like that and be like, I got to throw all this meat back in there.
Yeah, but if you look at it, if you don't look at eating it, you look at the fun of it. That was fun catching that fish. I've caught some big ones like that, and that's a lot of fun, man. You just keep fighting until you finally get them in. So, it's a great sport. I love doing it, and every chance I get, I do go.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I'd say it was great to see James fall in love with fishing, and it was great I grew up around Lake Pontchartrain, so I grew up doing that. My adult life has been without fishing, and now it's back in. And we're going to make sure that on Friday night, CCA gave out rods and reels to all the kids. So now James has, he had one before, but now he's got like a legit one. So, they are doing such a good job, not just of taking care of the anglers out there, but of building another generation to really enjoy and support the bounty that we have in our water.
Yeah, what you do, Brian, every time you want to go fishing, you kind of whisper in the ear of your son. He said, Dad, let's go. And you said, well, all you got to do, son, is go tell Mom you wish Dad could take you fishing, and that works around there. And she said, Brian, you need to take you fishing. Okay, I guess I can take it.
Yeah. We're going to work, Moon, we're going to work that angle all the way up until James wants a boat. I don't want the boat, Christy. James wants the boat.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
Anything that you can work to do that is not a bad idea.
I'm already getting a text saying, don't you dare. All right. We got Moon Griffon on with us for a couple more minutes here. I tell you, we do have some business to tend to. There are a lot of legislators down there at the CCA's rodeo, and this is qualifying week. Are you hearing any rumblings about names we haven't seen yet?
Brian, it's amazing. People are asking me, and I'm being blunt, I'm not hearing anything. I think the names that we heard before they canceled everything are still the same names minus a few in this round. Somebody surprisingly may get in, but I don't think it will. Like in the district you're in, I'm only hearing a couple names. I'm not hearing all the names that we heard early. Same thing in the fifth, which was going to be the fifth, which is up northeast Louisiana. It's the same 3 or 4 names. I think Stuart Cathy may jump in, but I'm just not hearing anything new unless you've heard something. I've heard any.
So in the fifth, I believe Stuart Cathy will be in. I think it'll be the big 3 up there will be Mike Eccles, Gabe Furman, and Stuart Cathy. That sounds like that's where that race is going to be. And you're going to get all the people that just throw their name in there because they have a calling, but they have no money, they have no base, but they'll throw their name in there.
Furman puts that in an interesting deal because Alec hadn't had a congressman in that area since Clyde Holloway passed away.
Yep.
I mean, he actually didn't die as a congressman, but when he was congressman. And so there's going to be a big push in the lower part of that district to try to put Furman, who, by the way, is a really conservative vote record. So that's an interesting race. But in the one y'all in right now, still healing the starting names, and I guess it depends on is Miguez running in the six.
So, yeah, that is the big question. And Rick Edmonds has a ton of support. He's got a ton of financial backing, and he's got a head start because Miguez has been on the sideline thus far. I will say this. I will be shocked, I tell you, if Miguez doesn't run.
You'd be shocked if he doesn't run.
If he does not run, if Miguez sits on the sidelines for this one, I will be just unbelievably surprised. I
have not talked to Blake since he endorsed Letlow. I mean, literally, I've not talked to him, and that's been, 2-3 months now.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he's thinking or what he's doing because I haven't talked to him.
Well, I may have talked to him 48 hours ago. So he didn't say definitively one way or the other, but when someone's got that inkling, when someone's got that itch,
But Brian, let me ask you a question. So he got the endorsement in the 5th congressional district.
Yeah.
My question is, does it go over to the 6th congressional district? Because I don't know if it works like that.
I don't think it does. It does not. The way it's been explained to me is that no, it doesn't roll over because it's a completely different race. So, but
that makes sense to me. That makes really a lot of sense.
It's a different district. It's a different time. It's a different everything. So it doesn't. But what does roll over is his war chest.
Yeah.
And I'll add this as well. And look, I love Rick Edmonds. He's such a phenomenal state senator. And so he's got a great head start here. But Blake has been making sure that Baton Rouge is, quote unquote home. He's been attending church at St. Aloysius. He's been all over town, to be sure. So I don't know if maybe pushing back from the May to the November might actually help him a little bit to be seen around town a little bit. Now, he hasn't been as front and center publicly doing it on a big scale, but he's been doing it on the grassroots scale behind the scenes.
Yeah, well, I think it may hurt. I mean, it may help him, but it also helped Rick because I thought Rick was struggling out the box if you'd had the earlier vote.
Yeah.
And now that went away, it looks like he was able to get his feet grounded, and he got a lot of people to come support him.
Right.
Blake's got the money, and Blake's over there, and that does help him because now he's seen as a community person because he's sitting there all the time. So that's an interesting race. And then will anybody else get in there to kind of change the dynamic?
Well, and the other part of this for Senator Rick Edmonds' perspective is when you don't have competition, you could just be you, and he's just a genuinely good dude. So
I've been knowing him a long, long time. It's an interesting race because one got a lot of money.
Yeah.
The other one got a lot of hometown recognition.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it interesting.
We got a minute and a half before we get you out of here. What's on the show today?
Well, I'm working on Liz to talk about Fauci. I don't know if she's going to be able to get on today, but I'm hoping she does.
Mm-hmm.
The SpaceX thing that Jeff talks about on the top side, very good. On the lower side, talking to hunters and fishermen, some of them are mad as hell because they like that place to be kept just like it is. So that's a big deal. That's a big deal for his jobs and all that. Somebody told me they're talking about shooting 3 rockets a day off Pecan Island. So, it's interesting to see how it breaks, but that's big news for Jeff Landry.
It is.
We landed that.
It is. And I don't think it's actually on Pecan Island. I think it's just it's slightly north of Pecan Island. But there is a very good question to ask here is what is the ROI of Sportsman's Paradise? And when can you stop calling yourself that if you're building things out on said paradise?
The guy that I talked to this morning, I told him the exact same thing. I said, man, Sportsman's Paradise might lose a little luster here because a lot of people go over there and hunt fish, 20, 30,000 people a year. It's a lot of people. And people were building camps. I've heard a few of them. They're going to stop right now to see what happens. So we'll see what happens. It's interesting for sure.
Yep. Coming up in half an hour, he is Moon Griffon, host of the Moon Griffon Show, 9 to noon, right here on Talk 107.3 FM. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right, Brian. Thank you as always.
Thank you. 8:30 at Talk 107.3 FM. We got news, traffic, weather, and the BREC Room is on the way. It is time for the BREC Room, and we are welcoming in the new director, Brooks Williams. We've also got Janet Simmons, and we've taken away Maurice's microphone for today. Just punch me out of the way if you need. Okay.
A lot of people are happy about that.
Well, I think a lot of people would be happy the other way too. So just it's fair game. Welcome aboard, Janet. Well, how are you? Janet, how are you?
I'm great. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great morning.
Okay. How ready or how long have you been ready for this morning?
Well, let's see. June 1st last year was what?
Yeah. June 1st last year was 17 years ago.
Yeah. It feels like it.
Brooks Williams in the house, the new director. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing very well. First of all, great job when you were on the phone.
Appreciate it.
So glad to have you in town. Glad to have you face to face. Today's the day, man. What does it look like?
It looks like a busy day. We're going to spend some time meeting with directors and other folks today. We're going to talk strategic planning items. We're going to start looking at projects. It's time to get down to business. So we're excited about it.
So that's today. Just walk me through the whole week.
The whole week's going to be a lot of that. I'm going to start visiting sites as well, meeting with the different mayors and commissioners, starting to really kind of understand how the system is built and where we need to start really putting rubber to road and getting going.
Is there a way to triage, but prioritize that along the way?
I think as we go, we're going to start to prioritize, right? Maurice and Janet done an excellent job. Their job was to come in, plug the holes in the ship, keep it from sinking, get propulsion going again, and get it going in the right direction. And now we're going to start to look at what are those priorities? Where do we need to start doing things and start elevating it to, like we talked about last time, this is now a performance organization.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to start working, and we're going to start measuring, and we're going to start making things improve.
We're talking with the new director of BREC, Brooks Williams, is in with us. Got to ask you though, you're bringing a crew with you. I mean, do you have an offensive and defensive coordinator in mind?
Well, I do have some offensive and defensive coordinators in mind. Yeah. So there's two things.
Be ready. Everything's football in Baton Rouge.
That's fine. That's
be
fine.
ready for
Yeah.
that.
So the gentleman sitting across from you or next to you is going to help on offense, defense. We hadn't decided which one, right? But on the operations piece of it, and then the finance piece, right? Those are the two pieces that you got to really watch because they'll break you. And so the finance piece, I've got a gentleman that's got over 30 years of experience in public finance that we're gonna bring.
Wow, yeah. Excellent stuff. Now all that'll come together throughout the course of the week.
It will, yes.
So we'll be looking for some big news later on in the week, if not the beginning of next week. Let's broaden things out a little bit. Sure. Let's talk game plans over like the course of the next 90 days or so.
Sure. So over the next 90 days, I think we're going to spend time talking about project prioritization, right? What does that look like? We've got probably between deferred maintenance and then new projects close to $2 billion across the system that we've got to work to complete. You look at $120 million budget. That's a challenge. So how do we start to fundraise? How do we start to prioritize those projects and make sure that we're getting those deployed and in place? Because you can't go back to the table enough times to fill $2 billion on a $115 million budget.
Right.
And so we've got to work through that. The other is youth recreation leagues. We're going to look to announce those at an 8/20 press conference. We'll start talking through that. And then on the 13th of August, also, we're going to have a workshop with our commissioners to really work through and walk through what does this look like for us? Where are our priorities? Not just from a staff perspective, but these are the mayors. These are the representatives of the community. What do you guys want to see?
Yeah.
You'll hear me say a lot, this is not our money, meaning staff's money. This is not our money. It's our job to do the work that's put before us by the commissioners. And so we're going to ask them to help with that process.
Want to talk about when you talk about the 5 different cities here, you're going to hear 5 different voices and 5 different visions. How do you pair those with your own, or do you even put your own to the side?
I think my job is to be advice and counsel to those visions, right? Help bring them together, find the common ground if there is any that we can find in those situations, and start to give them advice and counsel. I will constantly say, this is not my money. This is y'all's money. I'm here to help facilitate that process. And I think that is the job of staff. I think it's a mistake, actually, that a lot of staff members will make in public service and try to interject or infuse their own opinion on something when that's not our role. It's not our role.
Janet, how's he doing?
So far, so good. I said that from the very beginning, but yeah, I'm super excited to be able to pass the baton and bring kind of a closure on our time here, and then bringing in somebody to really take it to the next level.
So $2 billion in undone projects, deferred maintenance, and the like. Yeah. But there's also an aspect of, and Maurice has brought this up a couple of times, there's a safety aspect within our parks that needs to be top of mind in order to make them, appealing to the general public. Talk to me a little bit about where you're headed on that front, because if you're meeting with mayors, you're probably meeting with chiefs too.
We are sheriff's department chiefs trying to really make safety a priority. parks are a great place for people to go, and people should feel safe. The unfortunate part is if you go out and you look at research, bad guys feel safe in parks too, which is the crazy part of it. So that's where they gravitate towards to commit crimes.
Right.
And so we've got to figure out, how do we force multiply some of the things that we do have so that we can say, we can see you, we know what's going on. We also know there's an element in the world right now, though, where people don't want Big Brother watching everything. So there's a balance that's got to be found between creating that sense of safety and not violating people's sense of privacy. So that's going to be a challenge for us.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, if you want safety, there's easy answers there.
There is.
But when you have to balance it with, you know, the complaints that come along with safety, it makes it a different game.
That's right.
Altogether. We're talking with Brooks Williams, who's just taken over the reins over at BREC. We've also got Janet Simmons and Maurice Velasquez in with us for the BREC Room today. Let's talk a little bit about where do you see the biggest opportunity right now to improve the day-to-day park maintenance and cleanliness across the parish?
I think one is us defining what that is. What is our standard? We have to have a standard that then we can measure ourselves against. Once we define what that standard is, putting in place performance indicators on what that's going to look like, and then inspecting what we expect. Part of this, I talked to Maurice about it, part of my role is going to be randomly showing up at facilities and inspecting what's going on. Because we need to have a process by which we say this is acceptable to our customers or it's not, right? You go to Disneyland, you paid a fee, you got in the door, you expect a certain level of service. It's connecting that dot for our folks that our residents are paying to come here, just like you would at Disney World. They're paying their taxes, and they should have a certain expectation that we meet around those parks.
So, but that it opens up so many other different things, because it's like you're talking cleanliness, you're talking lawn maintenance. I mean, you're talking keeping the grass cut. You're also talking about the functionality of the different, the equipment wherever you have it, whether you're talking playground equipment or tennis courts or whatever. And Janet put in the rapid response ticket program, which I think probably raised the bar along the way to know where y'all need to be headed. So it just that's a lot on one plate for the first week or two.
It is. It's a lot. We got to get going.
Yeah, we got Brooks Williams in with us, the new director of BREC. I want to go back to working with the cities real quick, because I think that deserves a deeper dive. We've got Baker, we've got Zachary, we've got St. George, we've got Central, and of course, we've got within the city limits of Baton Rouge. How do you plan on working with the cities and different neighborhood groups within? Because I mean, everybody's got a voice.
Everybody has a voice. Everybody wants to be heard, and I think it's our responsibility to take in that information and then make the best decisions that we can with it. But you got to listen to people. You got to meet people where they are. You got to be out in the community. I don't plan on spending a ton of time sitting in my office and just meeting internally. I want to be out in the community and hear these folks and see what's going on and understand what it is. And then working with the mayors, because they are elected by those people and they can bring those voices forward too.
Sure. But I mean, we live in a social media world where literally everybody has a voice. Everybody has an outlet over there. Is there, I don't want to say is there concern, but like, that's a lot of voices all at once. You remember the movie Bruce Almighty?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Where Jim Carrey became God and he had all the Post-it notes built up.
Yeah.
How do you keep the Post-it notes from building up?
I think you try to aggregate as much as you can, find where those common voices are. Social media, while it's a great tool, you're going to hear me say generally, typically, normally, the negative side of social media, whether it's the same 10 people or same 20 people, it's usually the same group of people posting and creating the same narrative out there that is negative. And I think while we take some of those negative comments and we use them as feedback, that's not where we get stuck and bogged down, because there's always going to be that out there. We've got to start focusing on what are we doing to move forward. And if we're constantly on the defensive, that's not going to do us any good. It's not going to do us any good.
I think one of the things that I found interestingly enough in something that you alluded to was it's not just the cities. It's not just Central, Zachary, Baker, St. George, East Baton Rouge. It's the community. So it's the South Baton Rouge community. It's that neighborhood. It's the neighborhood that's in Mayfield. It's all of these little tiny communities within the community. So even you take a small city like Baker, and depending on where you are in Baker, it's going to depend on what the voice of those folks are. Like, for example, if they're at the zoo, if they live near the zoo, they're going to have a different opinion than if they live on the outskirts of Baker. So just those, it's a minutia of many, many voices.
And to bring what Janet's down to the practical level, we have a department that's dedicated along with IS to help us build a cadence of that. So as to make sure that on a regularly scheduled, monthly or at least quarterly, we're meeting on a rotating tour-wide, parish-wide community groups, stakeholder groups. And we've moved away from having a random kind of approach, as opposed to saying, no, every X amount of time, we're going to go meet with each area to make sure that it doesn't fall apart and that those voices get brought up.
How difficult is it to do that while keeping bigger picture items in mind?
If it wasn't for our IT department, it would be impossible. Our IT department in the last 4 months, Janet, I mean, I'm telling you what they've done to centralize, to take the information that's coming in for rapid response, to take the information from our weekly mayor's meetings, having everything more centralized. And now that they're putting together a dashboard, and Brooks comes in with an enormous amount of experience with dashboarding. We're about to basically centralize all that in the next 30 days so that we're not looking at 50, 60 different types of data sets of information. It's all now going to be compiled. And again, the IT department has done a fantastic job bringing all that together. And you'll be seeing a dashboarding approach in the next several weeks.
This is the BREC Room right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Every Monday, we hand off to the folks at BREC to get the latest. And well, this week, the latest is that we have a new director in Brooks Williams. Brooks, in touring the parish, and then we'll get back to some of the other ones in a minute, but in touring the parish, I would imagine the mindset as you're looking around is, what can I use from my resume? What can I use from my past experience to apply in Baton Rouge? Even, whether you're talking about specific parks or just in general, what have you tapped into the most from what you've put eyes on?
We need processes. We need processes, and we need expectations that we manage to. And the way we get to those expectations and what it is defining who we want to be, having a strong set of mission, vision, values that we guide ourselves with. But then again, that we have high expectations and processes in place that we can lean on. I've always said, anytime there's a breakdown, 95% of the time it's in a process breakdown. It's not in a people breakdown. And so it's, how do we manage our people to those processes, but how do we know that we're leaning on something solid to get done the work we need?
Got to pair the processes with the people, though.
Yeah,
so that's going to be phase 2, I guess, is making sure the right folks are in the right place and the right relationships are built along the way. So I guess that kind of walks me up to the next question is, how are you going to measure success within the first 6 months so that when you're building out processes and you're meeting smaller goals, how do you measure success to show that you're seeing real progress and not just something on paper?
Yeah, so that's part of what we're going to spend today and the next week doing, is really lining out what are those, to use a buzzword, key performance indicators, right? What is success? Because we have to define what that is first. To just sit back in 6 months and go, oh, look, we did it. We were successful, or we feel like we were successful. I've told them, my wife bought me a t-shirt 2 Christmases ago, my favorite shirt, and it says, my facts don't care about your feelings.
Yeah.
Right. And so we're not going to sit here and say, oh, we feel like we did a good job. Do we have data? Do we have facts that were agreed upon by the commission and staff to say this is what equals success? Because let's use a football, right? You don't get to go 1-16 and say, we felt like we had a good season, though.
Right.
That's not a good season. That's terrible. So what is it that's going to define for success for us?
Do I call them out for starting with an NFL schedule, not a college schedule?
My bad.
I tried to give him all the talking points. I didn't see that coming.
We got Brooks Williams in with us. No, the Hootats are after it. So, NFL schedule is perfectly acceptable around here. I don't want to squeeze in another question before we take a break. We're going to have to check traffic coming up in just a quick second. And we're going to take a look at your money now, but we will continue in just a little bit. On the back end, we're going to talk about really boots on the ground, literally. How much ground can you put boots on? And how much ground have you put boots on, and what's still to come? So we got Brooks Williams in with us. We've got Janet Simmons, Maurice Velasquez. This is the BREC Room. The new leadership is in the house. What quick programming note? Wednesday and Thursday we are going to be on the road. The great folks in the city of Monroe had said come up to the LMA annual conference. We'll be broadcasting live from the Louisiana Municipal Association's conference on Wednesday and Thursday, taking the show on the road. Right now, it is time for a quick break. Here's traffic on Talk 107.3. 8:52. 8:52, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. The BREC Room rolling right along. We've got Maurice Velasquez, we've got Janet Simmons, and we've got our new director, Brooks Williams, in with us. Brooks, as we're heading into break, I kind of wanted to tee this up here because you had mentioned earlier about actually like physically putting boots on the ground and getting to see every property out there. Where are you in that personally? How many parks, trails, whatever fields have you seen personally? And what's the map looking like to get to all of them?
The map's looking big to get to all of them. 6,000 plus acres, 150 different parks and facilities. That's a lot to get to. I mean, you could probably spend all week driving around and you're still not going to get to all of them, which is part of the challenge, right? Yeah. You got to have good people in place that the work's getting done. And so I've seen a portion of them, certainly not all of them. I'll continue to do that as we walk through this.
We'll talk about the ones that you have seen in a little bit if we have time on the back end, but part of that is when Janet and Maurice moved in, they started taking a look at it and said, this is a lot of land. We might not need all of it.
Yeah.
Well, what's your stance as you're moving in? Is that the continued plan right there, is to say, we've got some surplus?
I think their sentiment was correct. That's a lot of land. We might not need all of it. I think we do have to look at everything that we have and start to make decisions on the disposition of those pieces of property. I think the old mindset was more equals better. And now I think we need to start changing that to better means better, right? That's what really we need to be measuring is what's the quality of the parks that we have and the facilities that we have, not do we have more of them.
Okay, but I want to go back to the how do you measure success part of this, because more is a definite number.
Sure.
More, you could see that, 8 is more than 6 and 10 is more than 8. So if you're looking at success on a piece of paper and more is your goal, that's a very easy thing to define. How do you pivot that metric?
I think you just have to make a very hard decision and rip the Band-Aid off and say, we're not doing it anymore. Yeah. And here's the thing, proof's in the pudding. We had that as our success measure. And where has it gotten us? It's gotten us to a place where we have parks and facilities that are not premier. And so you're going to hear me say this, and it may be popular or unpopular. Gold medals on a wall don't equal a lived experience for people. And so we have to change the lived experience for the people that are going into those parks and those facilities. And so I'm not as interested about that 8 to 10 to 12 to 15 to 20. That's not what we're going to look at.
While we're on this, I want to bring Janet back in real quick, because the idea of selling parks always, triggers a lot of fear, like it's an overnight sort of a transaction, but it's not that's not the case.
No, it's not. And this has been going on since 2012. I mean, this is not a new thing that we're looking at to identify obsolete land or what we call surplus land. But just because the commission has voted to have a piece of property deemed obsolete where we can sell it doesn't mean that we're automatically going to sell it. We may be in negotiations with an organization for a year. We might do an MOU with them to see how the relationship goes. And at the end of that year, we can say, oh, this is really working out well. We'll just let you keep on keeping the property and taking care of it as long as it's working well for both parties. So again, it doesn't mean we're automatically going to go out there and put it on the market. In fact, we have done that with a lot of properties. And it's interesting because when you put it out for bid, they don't necessarily get jumped on immediately.
Right.
And we have to put them out for bid at the appraised price. Mm-hmm. That's part of the state law. So, so we're just looking at different opportunities within the surplus land that we've already put out for bid, seeing how we can negotiate maybe different terms to dispose of those properties, and then the properties where people want to go in and actually have some kind of an agreement, we're willing to have those conversations. Now that's something Brooks is going to have to determine,
No, absolutely. And it'll happen over time, and it will happen with public feedback, and it will happen in a very open manner, as has everything over the last year plus. So, Brooks, I want to go back to you before we get out of here. We got about 3.5 minutes to go. So tell me one thing about BREC that has surprised you so far, good or bad or ugly, whatever. Tell me one thing that's surprised you so far.
I mean, I really do think what has surprised me the most in a very positive way is just the passion that the people have that I've interacted with, right? Their passion for the work that they do, and they want to do a good job. I think that's a positive thing, right? Because you go into some organizations and they're completely dysfunctional. The people are disenfranchised with whatever's going on, and they're just existing, right? And I think that there is a real passion behind the work that's going on here.
I'm going to this one's kind of out of left field, but has there been, as you've been out and about getting to know the parks, has there been a particular property or facility that has really surprised you along the way to say, this is a hidden gem?
I think there's hidden gems certainly. I think what has surprised me more than the hidden gems, though, is some of the property that you drive by and you blink and you'll miss it, but there's a sign in that piece of property. We're mowing the grass every week, but there's no use for the property. So those are the ones that have surprised me, where I've gone, that's a park? Well, we're calling it a park. It's a piece of land that we own that we put a sign on and we've labeled as a BREC park. So those are the ones that I think have caught my attention more, because while I love the good things we're doing, and I think they're there, I'm also we got a lot of problems to solve person. And so I start looking at those low-hanging fruit opportunities.
We've got just shy of 2 minutes left. Let's go closing thoughts from each of y'all, and we'll give Brooks the last word here. Closing thoughts.
I'm very thankful for where we are. I'm excited. I'm very happy of the work, very proud of the work that Janet has led us through since June. When we first came on board, it seemed unsurmountable. The Titanic has not been raised, but I think we got a couple inches off the ground. We're headed in the right direction, and I'm very grateful for the staff, the directors, the way that the shock and awe that they had when we first came on, their ability to pivot with us, the ability to work with us and dive into what we need to happen. I'm very proud of the work that they've done with us, and we would not, Jen and I would not have been able to go ahead and have it for them.
I think the one thing that surprised me the most, and I was thinking about it over the weekend, is that we didn't know when we first took these positions how long we were going to be here. So I had no idea it was going to be a year.
Right.
And so how do you do something in 3 months, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of been my closing thoughts on that, is that we've been able to do a lot within the last year.
Last minute's yours.
I would agree with both of them as I've looked at what's gone on. They have done an incredible job in the time that they have been here. And I'm incredibly grateful to them for this transition period. They have been open and honest and forthcoming with the good, the bad, the ugly, which not every person gets an opportunity to have that given to them as they walk into a role. And so I'm just extremely grateful to both of these people for the work that they've done.
He is Brooks Williams, the new director of BREC. Of course, you already know Janet and Maurice. Thank you all so much for a couple minutes this morning. Greatly appreciate
Brian,
it.
thank
Appreciate you
And
very
this is
much.
probably going to be my last time here.
No.
Oh yeah. Well,
No.
you know, in this
we'll check
see.
in. We'll make sure. We'll make sure you're checking in. Thank you all so much. All right, Moon Griffon's coming up next. A quick teaser for tomorrow's show. Little programming note. We're getting you a double dose of DC Current presented by LABI. We'll have both Julie Letlow and Troy Carter in back-to-back segments tomorrow. Other than that, we're out of here. We'll see you tomorrow. Later on.